Forgot to start the YouTube side of things. Let me make sure I set everything up over here. I didn't get the game set. I didn't get this added to the playlist. There we go. Okay. Hello, I possibly continue the VN. I had that thought as I was sitting down of like, oh man, I probably should have put that on the schedule. It slipped my mind. I never want to say never, right? Like I absolutely want to get back to it at some point, but kind of like I've told a lot of people that have been asking me about certain games and stuff this year. I'm like, as of right now, I'm packed, and the answer is no. But like in the coming months, I have no idea, right? Like this is just going to be rough in the middle of tax season. I'll prefer to like veg out and play something that actually scratches my itch as opposed to like later on in the years where I have like more time. Okay. But I definitely would like to get back to it. Why is my chat not loading? There we go. Hello, Skyro. Hello, Weiss. Okay, so you guys are up and Adam over there. Let me go grab today's sauce. And then we should be good. Okay. Hello. Here is today's artwork for you guys. Go give the artist some love. It's a comfy triumvirate, if you will. Only depicted here is Artoria, but that's because it's a widescreen piece. But definitely it is a piece in celebration of the Stay Night anniversary. I have a bit of a confession to make to you guys today. I'm tired. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have streamed today if not for the fact that it's the anniversary and the ticket. Today was just an awful day at work. Just numerous issues kind of going on. I basically didn't even get to go to lunch until it was late. And then during my lunch break, I proceeded to, even though I told the people to hold the mayo, proceeded to have them put mayo on my shit while I was attempting to scrape it off. Then the dogs kept trying to like get at it, and I had to keep like yelling at them and telling them no. And then because like Nico didn't like that, he proceeded to and this kind of happens with dogs when their nerves get to them. He proceeded to take a crap on my floor. So then I had to like clean that up, and then I had to yell at the dogs even more, which doesn't make me happy. I don't like doing that. And then like went back to work and dealt with somehow more shit. And then basically ended up, kind of finally it calmed down around like 5, and then proceeded to like limp to the finish line of 6 p.m. So here I am. Is mayonnaise an instrument? You know what? If I put it on my hand and I slap someone that gives me the mayonnaise again, I'm going to say it's a percussion instrument, but sucks you had to deal with all kinds of shit. Yeah. It just, like I said, if not for the fact of everything else going on today, I don't think I'd be live today, but I'm here and we're going to make the most of it, and we're going to keep trying. So again, I hope everybody else is having a better day than I am. Thank you, Dragonette. And thank you for the follow as well. Also to Quiet Bear, who followed while I was offline. Mail, thank you for the 34 again. And yeah, I think that's everything for today. So You think the stream will give any Fate Stay Night buffs? I don't know. I think that's an interesting question because I could certainly stand for buffing certain units, right? Like, and I don't know what that is, but I'm down, right? And maybe more on that to come because I'll potentially talk about something like that in the future. Artillery could use some non-damage related buffs. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna say that you could buff Artillery's damage and it wouldn't matter. Like, as long as it's not like a crazy damage buff. But I think you could give Artillery even like 10-20% more damage and it'd be fine. Because we have that crazy amount of damage in the game at the moment. So the thing that I would say here is as much as people wouldn't like it, I have 2 points to make on that. One is, name me a better time to buff Artoria. And two, I don't know. It's almost like some of us play the game for this character. So, like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. As much as people like the new broken cracked units, I think the old guard doesn't care as much, and it just makes them kind of like burnt out on the game. I think it's like they're not taking care of some of the favorites like they need to, and that's, I think, over time eroding people's like care more than anyone would like to let on. We have Medea, Medusa. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna say that you couldn't buff other units. Watch them buff Parvati. You know, I don't know what they would do for Sakura, right? Yeah, and that's my entire point on this, Mish, and I've said this time and time again. So I'll go ahead and say this. I have a very brief announcement, and I have to thank. Why did that? Okay, this is not related to it. I just clicked the wrong thing, chat. So forgive me. But Avalon did me a solid today. Avalon went and did some digging for me when I asked, and basically Avalon ended up figuring out some numbers for me. Chat. This is the amount of rank ups and interludes per year. Do with it what you will. Okay, these are NA dates, by the way. So, chat, you are currently here, okay? You are in this year right here. Okay? We must have took some time. I did, but it wasn't as hard as you would think it is. At least according to what Avalon told me, and I did ask. And I wanted this information for a reason. Chat, last year we were here, which is the highest year for rank ups and interludes. Okay? The only year that is higher is 2017, aka year one. And I think we can safely say that the only reason year one is higher is because year one had all of the strengthenings that gave units their third skills. Okay? So last year was actually the true highest point. Because this, like basically 2017, 2018 are artificially inflated. Right? And don't get me wrong, like, I think it's good that they got that and those are upgrades, but like I'm gonna basically say these 2 years are like anomalies in the system. Whereas like 2019 onward is basically where stuff starts happening. If you're curious as to the JP dates, just subtract 2. Okay, so this would be 2015. This would be, you know, basically 2017 for JP. So like essentially that's the obvious point. I did find it really interesting that we sunk down a little bit in 2020 and 2021. I think that's where they hit a point where they weren't really sure what to do. And also the game actually didn't need a whole lot of buffing. So This is an interesting thing to analyze for all of you. I could record this. I'm gonna record this. I'm gonna record this chat. I'm sitting here thinking that I have some points to make, so okay, so real quick here, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update as to one of the videos that I normally do every single year. I'm not going to be doing the strengthenings and interludes video for the entire year like I have in the past. I've actually done it for the last 2 years. I'm not going to be doing it this year. And here's why. So Avalon actually, one of my mods here, went and did a whole heck of a lot of sleuthing for me. And I asked him to because I was curious, because I felt like it probably wasn't worth doing the video this year. And it may still be worth, but definitely there's some interesting trends. So these are all the rank ups and interludes basically that were present on JP. They are with the NA dates. So if you're curious as to what these dates were on the JP side of things, you're looking more at instead something like, -2. So for the first year here being 2017, it would instead be 2015. Now, the interesting thing about this is you can actually see for the first 2 years, our numbers were actually riding pretty high. The reason for this has to do a lot with the fact that we were probably getting a lot of the strengthenings that gave the third skill added to the game. There were a ton of units in the sort of onset of FGO that did not even have their third skill. This was very prevalent in 4 stars and less. But certainly the 5 stars, the one trait they all had was that they all had they all had 3 skills. So that ended up being not an issue for them, but certainly was an issue to try and bring the lesser rarities up to speed, making them more useful in the early years of FGO. So as a result, like I was saying, I kind of consider these first 2 years to be somewhat of an anomaly. And basically from here on out, from year 3 onward, we start getting actual, maybe real numbers here. And I wanted to point this out because it's really interesting because we were here last year in 2023. This is the year that I had to spend a ton of time doing all the strengthenings and interludes and talking about them all for the video. And definitely there was a lot going on. So this would have been 2 years ago on JP. Now, what is certainly intriguing is we have 2 years here in the middle, sort of bookended in 2020 and 2021, that don't have a lot going on. However, I'm going to also point out that these are your COVID years, and I'm going to point out that I think there's something else going on here. Just because there's less rank ups and interludes doesn't necessarily mean that there was a problem, that they weren't producing, so to speak. In this case, I actually want to point this out and say that I think this is the point basically where the game had actually achieved a level of equilibrium and relative balance. It doesn't mean that every unit during these years was good. It doesn't mean that there weren't systems like, say, Quick that maybe needed some love. But it does mean that, again, at the end of the day, the game had achieved a level where it actually didn't need a whole lot of buffing. The power creep was not super strong. Units were very capable, and the game was kind of at its actual balance point. We kind of see that where, to me, it's probably starting out in year 3, but the reality is year 3 still had a lot to do to bring it into balance. And so that's kind of where we see its zenith here. And I think that's why you don't see too many upgrades actually coming in there. Certainly the working conditions would have actually been a thing, but I think what you can see here is that, hey, yeah, all of a sudden, they just really didn't have to do too much to keep the game kind of going. They didn't have to get so many extra units online and kind of competitive. The game had achieved a point of, like I said, equilibrium, where kind of we had achieved that sort of like goal that the devs had in mind of having different niches where units had various levels of performance, but that they had this like baseline of comparability, and certain units would be stronger in certain niches that were appropriate to them. It's kind of like I said, the golden time, a little bit of FGO here to me, because I don't think there was that much that was like crazy broken in the game. We certainly had some really good units during this time, but not a whole lot where like things were like, actually beginning to spiral out of control or a ton of power creep. Certainly, I can point to this and say that 2021 would have been basically the year that we got Castoria. That would have certainly been a interesting year for us, and I think that is potentially where a lot of stuff begins to get crazy after her. Not so much that she herself is that crazy. I think everyone knows she's a strong unit. She definitely had a huge impact in the way challenge fights went and the way farming went from then on out. But I think it's pretty much from this point onward that you start to see the number of strengthenings tick up. This is largely due to the fact that they're starting to release newer, more, let's just say, modern-minded units, and the devs trying to keep the pace up and say, hey, okay, as we're releasing more units into the game, the roster's growing. We need to do more buffs. We need to keep people actually in parity with each other in order to preserve that game balance, in order to make sure that, again, our community's health is good in terms of player enjoyment, and that we're actually selling a lot of these units whenever we give them banners. Again, I've talked about game balance and why it's important for FGO before, but this is something I really wanted to point out to people, is the fact that yeah, I think for a while here they were really trying. And so you can kind of see as this graph dips and then kind of comes up and then kind of comes down. And that's an interesting thing to denote here. But the important part of this is that I think, again, right here is where they kind of got stuck a little bit. They had to start pumping out more and more and more. And they realized that what they should actually be doing is continuing the path upward, and that would have actually allowed them to keep parity with the amount of units in the roster. So again, to explain this and elaborate on this one particular point a little bit more, the more units that get released into the game, the more you're likely to have a stronger unit, a unit that outperforms a unit that certainly stands out from the pack. The more that happens, the stronger that unit is, the more the sort of units around them need to be brought and scaled up in terms of achieving some form of parity with them. That's going to give them that whole niche argument that I was talking about earlier, where they don't necessarily have to be better than the unit. They just have to be comparable. They just have to be close in terms of performance, close enough that when they're in a better situation, they're the better unit to use compared to the strongest unit. But we start to see some problems with that, particularly as some of the units coming out are so strong at this point that they really just leave everything around them behind. I've talked about these units before. These are units kind of like Muramasa, units kind of like Summer Kiara, units kind of like Tiamat, Melisande, you name it. And we can kind of keep going down the list and keep naming them. So we start to have actual design problems at this point, and I think the devs start to show their true colors here. They start to actually kind of focus a little bit more on short-term monetary gains. That is to say, we're going to make a unit strong, we're going to make them stand out from the pack, and we're going to do this in order to actually make it so that they kind of sell well. Like that way we know this initial banner will be good, because I think it's also at this point of the time where the roster has become pretty packed. So to give you an example of this, it's like, do you really need another AoE Arts Lancer or something like that? And it's like, well, you may have already had like 3 or 4 different options at that point. So what is this new AoE Arts Lancer going to offer you that you didn't maybe already have somewhere else? And that's where, again, I think they started to just favor, damage scaling, which actually is, certainly good for selling the unit in the short term. When people start running the numbers, when people start looking at the performance, they start going like, oh man, this unit is going to do more damage than all the units that have existed prior to this. And that, like I said, is a good short-term strategy, but it's not good for the long term, because all that does is, if you don't buff the other units that are competing with that unit, certainly if we put character into play and lore into play, people will roll the units that they like and people will try to make them work. But the problem that you have is when one unit is so strong that they actually end up being such a standout that it gets very difficult, because the entire community sort of circles around that unit and says, this is the best unit. Everybody roll this unit. Why are you rolling that unit? You shouldn't be rolling that unit. This is the unit that you actually need. And that becomes a little bit of a problem because we don't actually have scenarios like that in FGO. I think we can point to like the 90 plus plus nodes and say there are certainly people that are damage checked in FGO, but they don't quite hit the bar in those high end nodes. And at the end of the day, you don't necessarily have to do those high-end nodes other than maybe the one time. You don't necessarily have to do them in 3 turns. The only place to me that 90 plus plus content really actually matters is going to end up being in a lotto. So, and the reason for that is just because you really want to be able to 3-turn in that, and thus, time is going to be of the essence in actually having a unit that can do it. You don't have to do a 90 plus plus lotto node though either, so there's that. But again, I think this is where we can start to say certain units were getting left behind a little bit too much. And at this point, I think we're starting to see some, I don't really know the term for it, maybe banner fatigue. And that's not quite the right name for it. But certainly at this point, we have certain really strong units. And to give you guys let's say Melisson example, certainly people would still roll for let's say Lartoria or Ereshkigal or again even Romulus, but I think looking at an A, not that many people rolled for Romulus because they already knew Melisson was coming. And certainly I think post Melisson on JP, not that many people roll for any of those other 3 banners because of how strong that they know Melisson is. And the reason for this was largely due to the fact that those other units don't really compete with her too well. We did end up getting an NP interlude for Ereshkigal. That certainly helped out. So a lot of Eresh fans are still going to go with her and still roll her, and that's perfectly fine. Romulus at least has some really good challenge scalability and is very strong. So I think, yes, while he's not the most popular character, I do think that everybody will still consider him. And certainly if you're a fan of him, I don't think you have to feel too left out in that regard because his damage is very good. But then we get to something like, say, Lartoria. And Lartoria, let's, look at Ereshkigal and say, okay, well, she got an NP interlude that gave her a super effective niche. Definitely a huge spike up in damage. Lartoria, on the other hand, got 2 power mods added. If they're both in play, she can do decent damage. She's certainly not an incapable unit, and she can be used to farm. But again, unless you really like that character, not that many people are going to roll for that unit. I think we can also look to something like Enkidu and maybe Shisho as another example there as well. As some people might, be sitting there calling her a hag and saying oh, I don't need to roll for her. I've got my super strong Enkidu. And so I think these are just the examples that I can give you, but there are way more of these where somebody might not roll that unit anymore because simply due to the fact of even though they kind of like the design of the unit's just not good enough. And that's kind of the issue that I think you see at this point. So that's what I meant when I said banner fatigue is a new banner rolls around for an old unit, and because the unit is not nearly as strong as some of the most power creepy units that have come out, I think a lot of people basically don't roll for them. Thus, that means their banner performance is down, and the devs may be in this sort of circular logic. I wanted to call it cyclical, but circular logic there where they kind of think that, we need to release cracked units to sell. And, because this unit, or basically because, this is an old unit, it's not selling well. So we need to release more, broken units rather than keep up our, old roster, basically. So they kind of keep going in the circle of thinking they need to release something new and broken. But every single time they release something new and broken, more and more of the roster ends up kind of aging, at least poorly in this regard. So I think this is something that as we look towards our strengthenings and interludes, and I know this is a long-winded point, this is why you see them trying to do a lot at first and then sort of not towards the end here. So we are currently in 2024. This is the least amount of strengthenings and interludes they have done since those middle bookend years. This is basically, according to the sheet here, 62 different upgrades in this year, which, is still 9 more than those middle years, but it's not a whole lot. And this is looking, again, at more of a holistic standpoint of how much of the roster do we need to actually buff? How much do we need to actually get people upgrades. I think there's a ton of people out here that would argue that you don't really need to upgrade these units and balance doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you those people basically are playing favorites, and they probably have, a unit that is super cracked that they have grailed and they like to use, and they don't want to see that unit ever get dethroned. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're one of those people, you're welcome to that opinion, but it is not healthy for the game or its community long term. We actually saw this fairly recently with the Musashi buff here, as a lot of people got really upset over how strong the Musashi buff was in comparison to Ibuki Berserker, a unit that has been very hyped for NA, a unit that is very strong on JP, and they didn't like that Musashi dealt more damage than Ibuki. When the reality was, Ibuki had pretty much a holistic kit. There was, no flaw in it. Her damage was solid. She had 50% charge. She had cooldown reduction. So she was a very complete unit. And that was the whole reason a lot of people, I think, were hyping her beyond just obviously liking her character. So I think naturally that was a blow for certain people. But if you look, say, at Musashi there, we can definitely look at her and say, well, she needed something. And while, myself included amongst this, I think there were some people that would have liked to have seen maybe not necessarily a damage boost, but more of like a charge boost to make Musashi more consistent in weird nodes. There's also the criticism that not every unit in the game just needs charge as a solution. So I'm okay if they want to keep the units different, but in that regard, then yes, a unit that is far more dependent on NP gain as opposed to brute force charge should do more damage. And this has actually been a tenet that has gone all the way back into the old times of FGO, where we have seen historically in FGO, units that have more charge usually deal less damage. Now, that kind of stopped being a thing from year 3, year 4 onward. And that is kind of why I think you see this uptick here, as part of that is they start giving a whole lot more people charge to be able to actually 3-turn to help them compete with the likes of Arts Loopers and stuff like that. Certainly, I think it is an interesting point to make. And so, again, I'm just going to point out the Musashi example here. While some people are certainly upset over the amount of damage she deals now to, say, Sabers, the niche that she got, I think comparing at least Ibuki and Musashi right there, you can sit there and say, yeah, Musashi needed something, because literally everybody in the community was telling everyone to roll Ibuki, even though Musashi already existed and plenty of people already had her. So like I said, it's not necessarily a good thing. They definitely need to make it so that more and more of the roster are viable for especially newer players. Newer players can always roll the newer units, but what point are they going to have in collecting any of the old ones if they're just not that strong compared to the newest stuff? So there is a point to keeping everything sort of at least competitive, should allow for people to roll for more, and should allow the devs to actually make more money off of that as a result. I think you're going to earn a lot more in people rolling for multiple units than making one stupidly cracked unit and kind of trying to get everybody to roll for that cracked unit. Certainly your oldest players may have rolled for all of them, but your newest players will not go back, I think, and roll for nearly as much if you keep that strategy up. So again, like I said, I don't think I'm going to be doing it for this year, because we have even less this year than we did in the prior year and the year before that. Also, I've already kind of covered a bunch of the upgrades during the banner review. I will continue to cover them when they are relevant. So as I do my event reviews and stuff, I will talk about the upgrades that are coming in them, because let's be honest, that's where almost all of them are coming from now. Whenever we get an upgrade in the actual game at this point, it's usually coming from either a campaign or an event, and we kind of are done having strengthening and interlude campaigns overall because they just have stopped doing them. That is another reason for this dip. They just stopped running them whatsoever at all. And you can actually see this as it gets even more kind of clear what's going on here, as the number of interludes and story upgrades story upgrades actually kind of remain pretty dodgy, but the number of interlude upgrades over time has just absolutely plummeted. And that has been a thing. And you can actually see this here in 2025, as there are 35 rank ups. There are 0 interludes. There are 0 interludes with an upgrade and 0 story upgrades. That is to say, there are 35 rank ups, and that accounts for all 35 increases in the year. And if you think, well, that still sounds like a lot, it's not, because if you look at the actual totals here, you're going to see this is by far the least out of any year that we have ever had in FGO. So this is a very, very big problem. I'm going to tell you flat out that 2025 was the worst year that FGO has ever had on paper. It doesn't necessarily mean they didn't make a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily mean that the game didn't produce content during that time. It just means that sort of metrics for everything on the developer side of things are down. And that's not a good thing. So to me, especially as we look forward on JP coming up, obviously for 2026 for NA, aka 2024 for JP, they need to start doing a whole heck of a lot more. We already got a Musashi buff to begin the year, but certainly I think there's more that people would have liked to see. And again, let me know what you guys think are the units that need to be upgraded the most, but I did want to at least give you guys a, it's supposed to be brief PSA here, but certainly not too brief in the end. But I did want to talk about my thought process on the rank ups and interludes. I do think they need to be doing them more. I think as the roster grows more, there's probably going to be more and more units that need the upgrades. I'm not saying do upgrades for the sake of upgrading. I'm saying do upgrades to help keep people competitive against their peers. So that way, more and more of the roster is useful and can be used in high-end content. I think it's definitely a problem as we move forward, and certainly it's not being helped by the sheer lack of upgrades that they gave us last year on JP. So I will see you guys for the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good one. Okay. Does that make my point clear, chat? Your X number one thing sucks. Wait, what? Surprise video? Yes. Like I said, it's just another one. Kat, if you were to try to FGO's balance issue by only changing 5 skills, what would you do? I wouldn't. I don't like questions like that because they're very difficult to answer and they're very arbitrary. Don't take this the wrong way. I just like, it's kind of like a gotcha question because there's no way in hell I could answer it. Like, and I'm not going to say you couldn't ask that to some other content creator and they wouldn't give you an answer, but that answer would probably equally be bullshit. So it's like, I don't know, what would I change in order to bring FGO into balance? Get rid of charge skills. Entirely. There you go. Does anyone like that change? I don't. You guys probably don't. But that's one of the only ways you're going to bring FGO back into actual balance, actual parity, right? And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think you want every unit to be the same, right? Kind of like the point of like, oh, let's just give everyone charge. That's also equally dumb. Removing everyone's charge is also the equal and opposite boring solution. Now that makes Buster Giga useless. Yeah, I know. That doesn't fix it. Oh no, you'd have to still do more beyond that. But that, like, you would have to start by setting everyone's baseline the same, right? Like, and that's what I'm gonna say. In games, you're always going to have different scalings, like kind of a shifting sands mentality of like, this unit will be strong. Now this unit will be strong. Now this unit will be strong. And the whole point here is, chat, let's think about that. Think about it like a desert with dunes. And okay, fun fact, chat. Do any of you know what the process of sand dunes moving through the desert is called? Like, they actually migrate over time. Do any of you know what that's called? Desert dunes, Arrakis? Yeah, you're getting there. Currents the shallow. The spice must fall. Chat, y'all are on some spice right now. Walking? No. So it's called turbation. Okay? And thus, I like saying that when you have a lot of sand dunes moving throughout the desert, it would be happening in mass. So therefore, it would be mass turbation. So, regardless, the whole point, yes, there you go. Chat got it. The whole point is, though, to think about this concept of it being like a sand dune moving through the desert, right? You've kind of got like these various like peaks and valleys. Here's the thing. This is FGO right now. The peak is really damn high. The valley is really damn low. Good balance isn't a flat line, but good balance, chat, is more like this, where the peaks are high, but they're not so high that they can't be seen from the valley, right? So the whole point is you keep things more in line. You keep things not flat, but certainly like close together, competitive with each other. Because otherwise, if you do it the old way like this, the unit that is up here is nowhere close to the unit that is down here, right? Like the unit that is at the bottom of that valley is never going to challenge. I'll give you an example of this. Chat, give me 5 years. Who do you think 5 years from now will deal more damage? Melisson or Jildaray Saber? Even if you land crits on Jildaray Saber. Believe in Jills, right? So, and that kind of sucks. So what if we make it something more comparable? Chat, give me 5 years. Who do you think deals more damage? Melisson or the Valkyries? Okay, now you're comparing a 4-star to a 5-star. Probably Melisson, yeah. Chat, give me 5 years. Who do you think deals more damage? Melisson or Vitra? So you see my point. And like, who knows? Maybe Vitra would get a buff that would make Vitra deal more damage, right? But the concept I want you guys to understand is that's how strong they made Melisson. Like, we can't fathom a unit passing her. That's a problem. Shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have a unit that strong. Feature won't get a buff calf story, will I swear? Right. But like you see my point, right? I'm trying to point out the fact that like it's not where the valleys are so much, it's not where the peaks are so much. It's the fact that if you're gonna have peaks as high as this, we need to start filling in the valleys. We need to start like actually making the line a little bit more even. Right? That's the only way you're going to get this game back to a competitive state where not everybody is circle jerking, just use Tiamat, just use Melisson. It took literally, chat, not a standard 150% upgrade to Musashi. It took a extra 200% upgrade to Musashi. Why is that? You guys ever ask yourself that? Why did Musashi need more to pass Ibuki? Not standard. Here's the reason. They made Ibuki cracked. So if you want to go take a quick look at this, let's pull them both up right here. Hold on. I went about that the wrong way. Okay. So just comparing the two, it's not like the attack stat is that different here. We've got a 200 difference, and that might account for some, but it's really not just that. So let's look at Musashi steroids here. Okay. So she gets basically damage when normal attacking with an arts card. So this doesn't impact her NP damage. This is carding damage. And it is nice. It's only an arts card, right? And again, that normal attacking is significant, right? That's what's limiting it. It's making so that it's not impacting the NP. Then we get to her actual steroid. The only steroid Musashi Berserker has in her kit is 30% attack up with, again, a 30% defense down. So this could be 60%. But this is basically turn specific. So this means that you're running the first 2 turns either without it, or you're popping at turn 1 and you're landing on turn 3 without 30%. This is a shit skill. I'm going to point this out to you guys right now. This is a shit skill. For a skill, this has a demerit as far as I'm concerned. The fact that one of the aspects is front-loaded and cannot be carried later without you delaying it is a problem. The devs have designed units like this for years. It's always been an issue. I've always pointed it out and said, this is stupid. I don't know why they do it. And it causes problems. So then they go like, oh, but this skill is too strong because it also has a guts. And so therefore we're going to make it deal 5,000 damage to Musashi without killing herself. Why the fuck is this here? I'm dead serious. This skill is not that strong. It does not warrant this demerit. And that's the dumb thing. So it's like, oh, well, it's also got ignore invincibility, CAD. Sure, you're right. Okay, but now let's go look at Ibuki. She gets party-wide attack up of 20% here. You can also increase the NP gen rate and the critical damage, yada, yada, yada. Oh, one ally's arts performance and buster performance by 30% for 3 turns. So that's intriguing because right here, you've got 20%. Right here, you've got 30%. So you're already at 50% off the first 2 skills. And what do we get on the 3rd skill? A 50% charge skill. Why is that significant? Here's part of the reason why. Because, again, she gets a 30% NP gain rate in comparison to her trash NP gain rate right here. She gets arts up that will further help that trash NP gain rate. And then she gets a 50% charge. And this is basically putting her into a sort of node agnostic formation here. This is allowing her to work with Black Grail and kind of just make do. Okay. She also gets divinity. That's some small damage. I'm not going to really focus on that. Okay. Then she gets to her NP, and her NP basically removes all enemies' defense buffs, so you're not stopping her. She deals damage to all enemies, yada, yada, yada. And then she deals super effective damage to Earth attribute enemies. Now, a lot can be said about this. This could basically be used to point out that Ibuki's damage front-loaded is not as strong or something like that. But I think this is a sneaky thing here, because at the end of the day, we can easily look at this and say that Earth attribute basically is 1/3 of the enemies you're going to face. Okay, it's not truly a third. We might even say it's more like a 4th, because the way this one's going to work is it's one of the 3 major traits, but there are 2 other side traits there that are very rare and could apply. And so you could basically say that combined those 2 other traits maybe equal 1 actual trait. But still, I think you're looking somewhere in the realm of 25 to 33% of all enemies faced will be something that she is super effective against. What does Musashi have on her NP? Well, she deals damage to all enemies, reducing their critical attack chance, and then sealing a saber enemy's NP for 1 turn. And this is actually somewhat useful in certain situations, but it's not attributing to more damage. It's not attributing to more usefulness. So the fact of the matter is here, too, that Musashi actually doesn't have very high of an NP gain rate, but she doesn't have the charge to help bail her out. She actually ends up in a weird spot. And so the other thing to keep in mind here is we've got a 4-hit Musashi NP and a 5-hit Ibuki NP. That extra hit does matter. It is easier to get overkill hits and easier to refund then as a result. So the numbers are really weird. If you looked at this, you might even think that Musashi's a little bit stronger, but she's not. Why not? Well, it just boils down to the overall usefulness of the kit. Musashi was not a bad unit. Musashi had a less capable kit than Ibuki did. And that That is always going to be one of the determining factors that will make people overhype a unit. Sometimes people are bad at looking at numbers and they don't actually understand where performance lies. And instead, they will just, kind of sit there and talk about the thing they can talk about, the skills, the NP, that which is in front of them on the sheet of paper. So the reality here is it took Musashi basically getting a nice upgrade there with, again, the extra saber class damage here, a 200% super effective niche. That's what it took. Okay, she has a stronger than average modifier on this. To me, I would have liked to have seen more of this thrown back into the actual NP and less into the niche, but I'm okay with this. This does sort of secure Musashi's future as being useful in that niche. But again, the fact that they had to add 200% out of nowhere to make people consider her over Ibuki Doji should tell you a lot. The fact that everyone and their brother was circle jerking Ibuki Doji when they really weren't super different in terms of unit usefulness. It was just that Ibuki had the charge skill, tells you where a lot of the issue lies. Okay? I've never had that NP seal be relevant. Oh, I have. I have in challenge fights. I've had it be useful at least 4 different times. Most hilariously, one of them was literally in 5.5, where I just actually did the majority of 5.5 with Musashi, and one of the times ended up against K-Pop Saber, and I just straight up prevented him from ever getting an NP off, which is funny. But, could I have done something else? Yes, absolutely. Ibuki is basically just easier to use for odd nodes. Yep. And I think that's the thing to understand about this is it's players reacting to the content that the devs put in the game. It's not really the community's fault. The community is going to 100% circle jerk the thing that they think is important. It happens in every community, in every game. So whose fault is this? The devs. The devs wanted to add back single targets to farming. But the reality is, with the amount of crazy ass damage scaling of all the AoEs in the game, chat, how many of you guys actually use single targets to clear the 90++ nodes on JP? Some of you might. Some of you might not. And that's kind of a problem. Okay, so you're using Iori? You guys want to see how I do the 90++ node on JP right now? You're not going to like it. So that's kind of the problem, right? I think they've failed in that. I think they've failed in that premise because people will absolutely use an AoE over the single target if they can. So at the end of the day, you want to make your lesser damage or refund based units a little bit more relevant. Stop doing odd structured nodes all the time. Start working back in 3-3x nodes. And you'll see your refund based units get a little bit more of a nod from the community. But I don't think the devs care. I think they're tone deaf, and I don't think they're in touch with the community enough to even realize that's an issue. She's the only AoE Arts Zerker I know of for mixed nodes. Okay, so Gary, let me ask you this. How many AoE Arts Zerkers are there? But why do I see question marks? Remember when we had 4-wave nodes? Don't remind me of that. 4-wave nodes suck. I don't think anyone wants that. So the TLDR is skip all archers here to Musashi, except maybe Gil. No. That's a terrible TLDR. People are forgetting Dury. Yeah. But that's, again, something that I think we have an issue with is it's not that there is like that much to compare Ibuki to in that regard. Other than we could say that she's comparable across card types, right? Like, why can we only compare Ibuki as an arts unit, chat? You don't want to compare her to Buster units? You don't want to compare her to Quick units? They're all fair game. And I've had this point for you guys for years. You guys need to build a more robust account. You'll indemnify yourself to anything FGO can throw at you if you do. But like, if all you do is circle jerk one card type, not good for you. The game is inevitably going to throw something your way that you can't handle if you do that. And I get it. Like, for newer accounts, for people that maybe have gotten screwed in the gotcha and stuff like that, like, it's entirely possible that you have to go with the card type because you don't have any of the other solutions yet. But that's a yet issue, not a like, oh man, art's superior, Buster superior, whatever, right? Like, what if you have a robust account but you just love berserkers to death? I don't see any issue with that. So you're saying to whale more? Nope. Nope. Chat, the majority of my JP account was built free to play. Like, there are definitely units I have on that account that are MP5 now because I whaled. But the majority of that account was built free to play. Like, in a weird way, chat, I could back out all whaled for units and still completely be capable of doing everything. Here's why. I got all the supports free to play. So there's that. Dev wants to make the game more easy. I'm okay with the devs making the game more easy, but stop making it more easy for just one unit, right? Like, I think, in all seriousness, that the devs have this weird split issue between, do we make the game easier or do we make the game harder? And I think there's times where they don't know themselves, right? You were blessed by the gotcha guts, yeah. Gotta save and get a bit lucky. Yep. Tied to that lore greater than game balance issue too. I mean, I don't know what to say about lore issues in the game. Like, chat, literally from day one, we've had a lore game balance issue. Like literally, Ku being a 3-star is a lore issue. And how many of us would really call Ku a 3-star? How about Ushi Gozen review? I did review Ushi Gozen already and put the video out. I think. Unless I'm misremembering, but wait, Cat did? Yeah. Should your rail be a 3-star? Yeah. You want to know why? Your rail's kit is nice, her damage is not that great. And there's a big reason that her damage isn't that great. Chat, you guys ready to see one of the only units in the game that has this? In fact, it might be the only unit in the game. What's that? What's that, chat? What scales with additional NP levels? Is it the damage of the NP? No. She is an offensive NP where the NP does not scale. Only the male damage scales. I never saw this. This shit is whack. Yeah, it's really weird. Again, she's had her interlude. It didn't change that. Just, you know, basically. So They changed the amount of scaling on this because they knew they had to actually set it as part of the NP because they literally couldn't do it as part of the NP level. That shit's so ass. Yeah, I have no idea why they did that. It's a really weird like design. Somebody that day was like, "Yo, what if we switched her super effective modifier for her actual MP scaling? That'd be whack, bro." And that's exactly what they did. I have no idea why they did it. just year one things, chat. So, like I've said before, a lot of people say that Uriel deals more damage than Orion, aka Artemis. Uriel doesn't. Artemis will out damage her. The issue is purely that Uriel can get back to an NP and do it again, and Artemis can't. So that's kind of the problem that you run into. Bring this back to balance Melu. Okay, you can't nerf a unit though. That's kind of the other issue that we run into, right? Like they can't like do some of that crap. Why not? Oh, you mean like why can they not nerf a unit? Because legally. So there's a whole bunch of like legal bullshit in Japan with regards to gacha, and I understand because like gacha games do be that scum. But basically, if you ever nerf a unit in a gacha game in Japan, you're in real trouble because the people can just say it was false advertising and that they only rolled for the unit because of its performance, and then you nerf the unit, and then they can go like, "I demand a refund." So it's not a good scenario to find yourself in a gacha game. I'm not sure how other gacha games handle that. It's definitely an interesting thing. Obron, thank you, H. Yeah. I find it funny that you keep telling me and I don't see it until after I realize it myself, but thank you. I do appreciate it because one of these days I'm going to forget. You can't. The only way is to unleash a stronger unit, right? So, and this is why power creep is the thing. There will always be power creep in the game, but the key, chat, is you want power creep to be like this, not to be like this, right? Like you want power creep to be as slow as possible. You want it to exist. You want it to be a thing, and this is where like that weird sort of mentality of like public perception comes into play. Of okay, what is the least strong we can make a unit where everyone will go, "Ooh, that unit's good. I want to roll for it." I don't know anymore. And here's why. I have unironically seen people look at a new unit, say, that unit is a Black Grail Looper, but it requires plug suit. This unit is bad. What? Like, what? There are units that cannot touch Black Grail. Why the hell do you think a unit that can touch it is bad? Are you stupid? And that's a hypothetical, are you stupid? But like, what? Sorry, not hypothetical, rhetorical. But like, I don't understand. I don't understand why anyone has that weird ass mentality. And this is why I said, like, at the end of the day, it's just idiots on the internet that just they're absolutely biased, and they're absolutely like, just like, "Oh, this unit sucks because it competes with my favorite unit." Like, what? If you want to level other mystic codes, that's a stretch. Even then, right? You'll eventually reach a point where your mystic codes are done. It's the whole click and speed argument pushed to the max. Yeah, and I'm gonna say this again, like, chat, does time to clear in this game actually matter? Like, I'm somebody that I will try to like reduce the amount of time I spend in a node. I will, especially in a lotto, especially in a scenario that I farm. Does it actually matter? No. Would like if there's definitely times where I go like, oh, I'm going to use the faster unit. I think it's fine. Would I use the slower unit if that faster unit didn't exist? If I didn't have that option? Yes. It wouldn't make the other unit bad. I've never understood the logic of this unit has a slower NP, therefore they bad. I understand the logic of I don't want to use that unit right now in this particular situation. I've never understood this unit bad because slow. Sometimes slow good, chat. Sometimes slow do a lot of damage. Example, frickin' Kiara. I saw some people shitting on Takeru. Yeah, no. like I said, the people that I saw that shat on Takeru were mostly people that were like Muramasa simps. Chad, I got an MP5 Muramasa on NA because I like the character. Am I going to roll MP5 Takeru on NA? Yeah. Because I like the character. That's all y'all need to know. Like, I think a lot of these arguments usually boil down to I am totally not telling you that this is my favorite unit that it's competing with, but that unit over there sucks. And I'm not going to tell you that I actually am biased on this, but that unit sucks. And I'm just not going to disclose why. I can't tell you how many times I've run across this on Twitter or Reddit, you name it, right? Tucker and Muramasa fans when Jason walks into the room. Jason walks into the room and like doesn't do any damage, but barely manages to 3-turn the node, and it's all the same. Right? Like, I agree. I think it's at this point that like this is why it matters. This is why the perception matters, is because people will circle jerk. But in reality, it doesn't. And it's more like potato brain to sit here and argue back and forth over like, well, that you can't roll for that unit. That unit's trash. Why is it trash? It does 5 damage less than that unit over there. Okay. Like, I don't think it matters. I shat him because I thought his MP was 3 hits. Would that matter? If what you said were true, like, and I'm dead serious, Nero. If what you said was true, why would that cause you to shit on him? And this is the mentality I want to break in the FGO community more than anything. If the unit that comes out is not the best unit, does that make them bad? We have bad units in FGO, chat. We know what a bad unit is. Like, again, I saw people when Moriarty Ruler came out that were saying he was bad. I saw people when what's his name? Gouda Lancer. Sakamoto Lancer came out that he was bad. And I'm like, no, these are not bad units. Like, you don't have to roll for them. And just say you're not going to roll for them. Like, I think this is another thing, is people feel the need to justify why they're not rolling for a unit. You don't have to roll for a unit, chat. There, I said it. I don't care who the unit is. You don't have to roll for it. So if you had people like for instance, okay, you've got everyone and their brother that prior to this buff, a couple days ago told you had to roll a Buki this year. You had to roll a Buki. She's too cracked. Now I've got people that are saying like, oh, this completely invalidates Ibuki. She's trash now. I have unironically seen that comment. And I'm like, what? It's not a thing. Just because you're not first doesn't mean you're last. I don't know how to say this any other way. The duality of man, yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can only speak to this effect, chat. I can only tell you that this is a mentality that people have out there. It's not on me to change the community. It's literally on the community to change itself. If you don't want to see that sort of like trash talking of units when they come out, if you don't want to see people being more patient and stop jumping to conclusions, it's on you guys to call those people out. That's really all it is. Like, basically tell people to calm the F down. Like, they'll be fine. So will the unit, right? I can say this. Chat, ask me this. In the last 2 years, who is the worst unit that has been released into FGO? JP. None? Oh no, there's a worst. Who actually hurts your count? None of them hurt. Avalon got it. The worst unit released in the last 2 years is Keisuke. I don't even think it's a question. He to me, he is worse than Nobukatsu is. Like, and Nobukatsu is another niche support unit. But Nobukatsu does his job very elegantly and has the decency to kill himself to get out of the way. Keisuke? I don't think there's any reason for anyone to have Keisuke. I think any time you look at Keisuke and you think, hey, that thing that Keisuke does is good, there is another unit out there of the same rarity that can outperform him in that thing. So I think Keisuke is the worst unit released in the past 2 years. So if that unit ain't worse than Keisuke, are they bad? I don't know, right? Like, and that's the whole thing. Keisuke is just one buff away from being good. Okay? This is the point that I try to make with people. Is it's not like these units are unfixable. Okay? And it kind of speaks volumes about how strong the roster of releasing units are. That they're all, you know, pretty useful, pretty competitive on release. Okay? Like, that's it. Like, and I want you guys to say, I don't want you guys running out there and being like, Keisuke trash, Keisuke unusable. Keisuke's usable? I just think he's the worst unit that they've released. That's it. That's legitimately it. And I think it's simply because when they looked at him, they just undertuned him. We can certainly point out, and like I saw someone in chat say Mary Anning. Mary Anning's a 1-star. So, like, depending on the metrics that we're judging the unit by, yeah, you could argue that Mary Anning as a 1-star is worse than Keisuke. Mary Anning is like the Jason of Lancers, chat. She's a 1-star AoE arts looper. She works. She's not bad at what she is, right? Like, is she going to do the most damage? No, she's a 1-star. But, like, again, it is what it is. This is who he's talking shit about. Yeah. Like, again, I think basically your issue with Keisuke is just the fact that, like, okay, he increases the party's attack and MP gain rate. He gains 10 crit stars. He increases his own quick and arts performance, even though he doesn't have an offensive MP, by 30%, and charges his own gauge by 20%. Sure. His third skill here grants the party evasion for 1 attack 3 turns. This is a decent skill. It's also an ailment cleanse. It's basically Harp of Healing. And unfortunately, we have seen plenty of other units that have this. Again, when I went over banner review, how many units had this, chat? Do you guys remember? There were like 5 units that had this that I went over this upcoming year. So, like, yeah, it's nice that he has it. It's not the end all be all. Like I said, he's usable. Is he good? Is he better than his competitors? No, I don't think he is. And I think that's kind of the issue. Again, he gets riding E. Like, oh man, they were going to make him too powerful if they gave him a whole lot there. What's his NP do? He increases the party's attack for 3 turns that scales based off of his NP level. That's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. He also increases the critical damage of Shinsengumi's servant allies by 50% for 3 turns. Okay. Chat. What if I just increase the critical damage of all allies by 50% for 3 turns? This is why I said, like, as far as him being a niche Shinsengumi support unit, this sucks. This is terrible. This, chat, you could have increased this to like 100% and it still wouldn't make me take Keisuke. Still. Like, it is what it is. Charges the party's MP gauge. This is the thing that scales with overcharge by 10%. It's there. It's a thing. Like I said, the beauty of Nobukatsu uses his MP, enhances his sister, and gets the hell out of Dodge. Keisuke doesn't have the decency to kill himself. Like I said, you can use him. He's not unusable. I think I'd rather take any number of other 4-stars. That's kind of my problem with him. Constantine is competing with MASH, though. Yeah, I understand that, but Constantine actually has a very, like, solid kit in what it is. Do you ever need it? No, not necessarily. And again, I think you can look at a unit like Constantine and say, like, yeah, he's the epitome of a unit that you don't have to have. He's very niche. Again, he's also not got an offensive NP. And I think that's something that we can definitely denote, is that, like, part of the negativity here is being caused by people not having an offensive NP. And okay, well then they're a support MP, right, Cad? Well, yeah, but how much support do they actually do? And thus people start to judge them based comparatively to other supports. And I think naturally in Constantine's case, you're going to compare him to MASH because MASH is absolutely free and everyone has her. I think that makes sense. Now, here's the thing, chat. I want you guys to imagine something. You see this rider icon? I want you to take this, cross it out, and I want you to put in the shielder icon here. How do you guys feel about rolling this unit? This is the point that I've pointed out to people before. Like, you guys want more shielders in the game? Good luck. You have to compete against MASH. That shielder better do something that MASH cannot even fathom. I guess that's the only way, right? Still kind of not great, right? So, at the end of the day, does Constantine need an upgrade? Yes. Yes, I think Constantine does. I think Constantine's in this conversation. I just don't think Constantine's the worst unit. Because again, he kind of just is niche, but hey, he at least has like a really good NP in that regard. So he increases his own burst performance for 3 turns, which is meh. This is also the thing that scales with NP level, which is meh. It doesn't even scale that much, which is meh. But he grants himself invincibility for 1 attack, 1 turn, reduces his damage taken of Roman allies, which he himself is, by 5,000 for 1 turn. That is a hefty damage cut. And then he further increases the party's defense for the duration of that turn by 100. What's the issue here? These buffs are not 3 turn, and they would probably be too strong if they were. So the reality here is that this man should not be a buster NP. This man should be an arts NP, and he should have mechanics to help him get to his NP again. That is the thing that he has issue with. So like, the fact of the matter is he's got 1 turn durations. That's fine. He doesn't have any real capability of getting back. And I think that's where Constantine struggles. He needs to be set in a party where that's going to be a thing. Unfortunately, he's not very party oriented in terms of his NP. I think Constantine's issue is a bit of lack of focus. Yeah. The problem is his taunt is not 3 turns. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I do think Constantine is in a weird spot. I don't think he's a bad unit, though. Lack of focus is what he's known for. Yeah, I mean, he is the last of the Byzantine emperors, so not necessarily a good a good one in that regard. In fact, in that regard, I would love to see them do other Byzantine emperors, but they would just probably outshine him, so probably not a good thing. Anyways, chat. Back to actually doing FGO because my AP gonna cap out. How many arts cards does he have? 2. He put too much focus on his drip. I think Constantine was a unit that they knew they were going to get all the females to roll for. Like 100%, a lot of people just really like his character, really like his design. But his actual like kit is not that good. He's not currently in my role plans because I just don't need him. But I do like him. I hope they buff him, and then at that point, if they buff him, I'll probably roll him. Just didn't even to be dope AF. Yep. Could you show off Bazette in one of these runs? No. I mean, like, yes, potentially I could. My Bazette probably would not kill. It'd be alter ego on alter ego violence. But I definitely could. The problem is I have no AP on JP now. We're going to meet him in bespectacled testicles? Yep. Chat, get used to me calling it that. It's never going to stop. Bazette Banner Ben, we need to know the launch date of Valentine's Day. I do think it's interesting because we have the whole Fate Stay Night thing. There's a lot of speculation on will NA get the ticket. I'm going to talk about that during the video. So, because we're going to get another video out of the stream. But yeah, like they said it's going to be early February for Valentine's Day, so take that as you will. Wasn't there already an English version of the post for the Fate Stay Night campaign? I don't think so. Let me double check. There's people posting Google Lens images. Yeah, that's typical. I can't understand this, and I need the clout, so I'm gonna post it, even though there's people that like actually translate stuff for people. Don't get me wrong, I use Google Translate myself all the time. Usually I check back with people. Also, I don't know if I said it, but Transpace, thank you for the resub. People picking Sasaki. Yep. Kojiro C gonna be the rarest in the game? I don't think it will be. Oh, what's that? The pre-release campaign. Yep. Medea will be? I think Medea will be the rarest. Yet I am completely done with NA's event, so don't shoot me. We'll talk about it, Strom. What do you think would be a better upgrade for Ishtar? Making her ignore invincible, guaranteed, or making her delayed buff a 2-turn one? I don't think Ishtar needs an upgrade. Here's the reason why I say this. I understand Musashi is an issue, but I think the reality here is you have both Ishtar and Gil in relative parity, and I think that's fine. They're already leading the pack. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like, could you upgrade it compared to units external to the archer class? Yes. I don't think you can justify it based off of like how she performs in relation to other archers, though. So it's like if they decided to buff Ishtar, I might like roll my eyes and be like, "Here we go again." But I don't think I'd be like, "Oh my god, they can't do this" or anything like that. Bring the rest of the archers to the same level of below Musashi. Like I said, I don't think you have to care too much about that so long as like they're competitive with Musashi. I think that statement, that sentiment does not change no matter who the entity is, right? I want to be clear here on this, chat. Like when I say things like this, it's not because like, oh, Cad's just comparing like Melisson and Lartoria or something. I'm like, no, I firmly believe this goes to like all units when we compare them, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see them fix everybody so that everybody's competitive, you know, in relative like comparison. So it doesn't mean that like, oh, this unit does 34k, so that unit needs to do 34k. It means like, oh, that unit does 34k, so this unit needs to be able to do like at least like 32k or something like that, right? Like they just need to be in the same like ballpark such that there are situations that you use one over the other. So now would be the point where people would ask, okay, Cad, so like when would you use like, you know, Ishtar over Musashi? The answer is simple, Buster. It really is, right? Like if you don't have arts or you don't want to take arts, you have Buster, and that's exactly what you go with. And I think in that regard, yeah, like then her competition is Gil. Gil does some crazy damage at this point, but I think we can definitely point to that and say that Gil's damage is going to tank quite a bit if you're not up against a servant. And so as a result, that has kind of been their sort of known roles for years at this point in FGO. Gil has always been the servant annihilator. Ishtar has always been better for non-servant applications. The correct choice is to pick who you want. There should be no reason to go Saber only because it's a 5-star. I will certainly give the advice of rolling who you want, but I will give... You guys will see. You'll see. You guys are trying to bait the video content out of me ahead of time. So I will just not respond to any more of that stuff. Normal archers still have more damage. Yeah, I think there's something to be said as well about class effectiveness. Like, the second you have a scenario where, like, Musashi might be getting hit, that's a very, like, bad scenario for Musashi, and you don't want to take her into that. Like, Musashi already has that demerit of 5k health. She does have a guts, and she does have a dodge, so she can live through a couple hits, but, like, long term in a challenge fight, you're going to have a hard time keeping Musashi alive. 90 plus Lancer node says hi. Yeah, I'll still never forget. I saw people like when we had that one Saber node being like, oh, it's a 90 plus Saber node, and I was able to do Melisson with it. And I'm like, sure, but chat, keep in mind that 90 plus Saber node was the least health we had seen in a 90 plus node. So like I wasn't surprised that we were able to do that one with a counter class unit. It basically just spread the health evenly across the waves, unlike other ones. And even then, people were still only doing that with like NP5s. Oh no, Musashi with her guts and dodge and Castoria. Yeah, I do agree with that. But here's the thing, right, chat? If you've used Castoria in a challenge quest and only Castoria, you guys know like how long you have until they probably die? I do. I've done it enough times. It's somewhere in the realm of 15 to 20 turns. If you're just using double Castoria, one of the Castoria is getting beat to death in that time. Like, you have to have some form of sustain, some form of healing. And I'm not going to say that you can't, right? You absolutely could take in, like, a Tamamo, Proto Merlin later on down the line, heck, even a Merlin, right? Like, so there's definitely ways that you can do it. But just keep in mind, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say you have to take something to help keep the unit alive. Otherwise, it's not going to go well. Any chance of NA getting anything for the 20th Andy? I'll talk about that in the video. I know I'm blue balling you guys. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. We'll talk about it. Like QL upgrade that follows me around easily. Find a servant with an anti-class append. Allows me to more easily find a servant with an anti-class append. There's really not that many. And I actually put out a list. Good luck finding it on my Twitter chat. I did put it out though. I may have actually converted it into video form. Hold on. Oh God, why is that the Game Awards? Oh, that's an old tab. All right, perfect. Yeah, okay, so the video was published March of last year called All the Good Third Appends. Uh when they're worth your coins. Go watch it. I already did all the legwork for you. I tell you about every single append that's actually good. Link? Oh, you guys want a link? Now you're lazy. Come on. I got you. I honestly, I could not remember what I called it, so I had to go look it up myself. I didn't want to tell you guys wrong. What am I doing here? This is an A. Is it okay to grail Boudica? I love her boobs. So there are two schools of thought on grailing. The first school of thought is grailing for gameplay. Don't do this school of thought. I like you'll know if you're the type of person that wants to grail for gameplay, okay? The second school of thought is I like thoughts. And at that point you straight up you grail cuz like, you know, you know. Boob is a perfect reason to grail. It is. Yeah, like I highly recommend always grail for love. The reason I say this is because like you should probably have a playlist for future-proof videos like that. Well, I mean, it's definitely not future-proofed because more appends come out that aren't in that video. So there will come a point where I will have to re-record that video, but like I don't know, that's probably not going to be a thing for a while, right? Because badass greater than all for me, and that's fine, right? Like the whole point is grail for love, don't grail for gameplay. You'll be much happier for it, right? Like grail your favorite units. That's it. If your favorite units are gameplay units, go for it, right? Chat, like, okay, I have a grailed Squirtoria. Does that help me out in challenges? Fuck yeah, it does. But like, do I have to, grail Squirtoria because she's good in challenges? No, I grailed Squirtoria because I like Squirtoria. That's the only reason. I have plenty of grailed units that are suboptimal or not that usable. Like, stages of grailing because Boba, grail for meta gameplay, grailing for Boba because you generally like the character. Yeah. I want grail a CE. You want to be able to grail a CE. I've actually thought about stuff like that before of like, what if they allowed us to like further enhance CEs? But the reason that they shouldn't is because, chat, let's imagine this and imagine how attached you are to a character. Then imagine that they give you that thing for something that is not a character. Yeah, let's be real, chat. We're all going to grail. Like Black Grail. We're all going to grail K-Scope. We're all going to grail, the various 50% Cs that are really strong. So as interesting of an idea as that is, I don't think they need to. And they've probably already thought of it themselves and said, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Oh, why did I? Well, whatever. I want to grail Honey Lake for reasons. Understandable. Wait, the devs think? The devs definitely think. Like, I know we are critical of them all the time. This is why, like I said, I don't mind being critical, but I want to focus on like how I think the devs can fix things. Like, fortunately, sometimes chat doesn't give me the opportunity to, but like, yeah, it'd be what it be. Grailed Royal Icing, look at Pheno for that. I'm unsure of the meme that you're referring to, but I feel insulted. I actually feel insulted right now. Horny Lake is a good sea to grail, yeah. Obvious dumb question, who's cuter, How or Hokusai? Uh, that's difficult. I feel like How's a little bit more like Genki, where she's like just more outgoing, versus like Hokusai is cute in other ways. So that's like I'm not really sure. Cause hotter subjective. But she an octopus? Hokusai isn't the octopus. We her dad is. Sorry. We isn't. Hokusai is. Confusing. We is the daughter. Hokusai is the father. But how is hotter? Hokusai is cuter. See, I'd actually invert that. I would say that to me, I think Hokusai is hotter and how is cuter. Not that like either of them is not cute or not hot, but like no way that's how it's pronounced. Oh, I have no idea how to say it. I call it we because it looks like we in French. We. But I've always said this, chat. Never assume I have the correct pronunciation for something. How dare you? Exactly. Hokusai is squid skewers. How is takoyaki? Wait, but like how's not octopus, right? Wait, which Hokusai? Saber or Lovecraft? Is there like I mean, it really just boils down to outfit at that point, right? Like, that being said, I do want a How Summer. Like, I'm actually really surprised they haven't. Granted, kind of hard to do How Summer when you're like, hey, yo, what if we circle jerked LB6 more? Chat, I'm a Arthurian mythos guy. I am tired of LB6. I have to admit it. I'm tired of it. I actually want them to move on and cover something else. Isn't Saber more away than Hoku? Yes. But we haven't had LB6 Christmas yet. I mean, we kind of did. That was basically the lotto that we had that year. You're one more Arturia variant from changing your mind. I mean, I love the Saber faces, but it's not going to change the fact that I want them to like shift their focus onto literally anything else. Avalon Lay fatigue is real. You mean you want them to stop milking? I mean, if they're going to do anything more with LB6, they need to at least make it be like new characters or new units, like new variants of the units from LB6, not just focused on LB6's lore. Like I get it at this point that it's like one of Nasu's favorites, but I definitely think they need to do more. But Cad, we need Oberon Santa. I don't think you do. It's not over until Santa Castoria. Like I said, I'm not going to be opposed to like more of certain units and stuff like that, but I definitely want them to like, again, we've basically sat here and just had like reruns of all the LB6 units, and at this point, it's like hard carrying the game. And I've pointed this out before that it's like they're going to have a problem the second they actually do try to transition off of it and don't do their like, oh, we haven't run any of the LB6 units in 6 months, so here we go. I think that's a problem that they're naturally going to have. And don't get me wrong, these characters are popular, so I understand them doing it. Just that like they've got to start developing other characters. They have to. Okay, finally, chat. The AP is done. Now we can talk. Okay. Oh. Would you be mad if there's an Aurora servant? No. I think like that's what I'm talking about is I would like to see them explore other stuff rather than just keep hitting the same points over and over again. The face when everyone gets something but Mania, not Lily. Yeah. Get ready for LB6 faces. I mean, look, I like the LB6 units too, right? I just want them to actually like move on. I've said this before. I think it's not even just LB6. I want them to move on from like Lost Belt. I want them to like, it's like the Chappelle Show scene where like he has the clock and he keeps telling people to wrap it up, but then his wife tells him to wrap it up. She pulls out the clock while they're having sex and is like, wrap it up. So it's kind of that same thing where it's like, at this point, I just want them to like wrap up the LB storyline so that they can move on to something else. That's all I'm asking is like, let's get to something new and exciting rather than like more of the same. Yakamo, thank you for the 40 months. Like I'm going to say this again. I want something to talk about. I want to be able to speculate, but part of the problem here is that everything is so interrelated and there've been like so many major spoilers that like I feel like now on NA you're just dodging spoilers left and right, and I can't talk with any of my friends that know the story on the other side of things and like actually speculate, actually theory craft with them like I used to be able to. Summer Cuckoo soon. I'd be down, but I don't know, right? Like it'd be what it'd be. Anyways, let's get started here. Okay, guys, so we had big news come out of JP last night here. We actually had it revealed that we are going to have the Stay Night 20th anniversary commemoration campaign. There is an upcoming stream that by the time this video goes live will have probably already happened. Should be tomorrow morning. We're going to obviously have some new and exciting stuff coming out of that. Hopefully we get something like I've always been hoping for, like a Stay Night route remake or something like that. Give me an actual full-fledged anime so we don't have to debate where to start the series anymore. But it is what it is. Again, though, this campaign's actually really awesome if you really think about it here. So we start out with, again, the campaign's going to go active on the 30th. This should be the date that I'm releasing the video on. And it's going to require Fuyuki Act 3 Arrow 1 in order to be able to do this. But you're going to be able to exchange for one of the Fate Stay Night actual original cast. And that is really awesome in that regard. It's not all of the units here, and I actually would have liked to have seen them maybe put in some more, particularly with regards to who we actually get. So we get Artoria, Emiya, basically Ku here, Medusa, Medea, Sasaki Kojiro, and Herc. I would have liked to have seen like Ilya in there. I would have liked to have maybe seen like Jaguar Man. I think it would have made for some more interesting choices because you would have gotten more of the cast here. But I'm okay with this. I do think let's not look the gift horse in the mouth, right? So at the end of the day, basically, you can see players will get an exchange ticket through the present box. It's only going to last basically for the exchange period here until the 13th. So this is not a permanent thing. It will expire. Make sure you use it or lose it. Again, you'll be able to exchange it in the DaVinci Workshop section here. There is obviously one SSR. That SSR is Artoria. So they did mention here that obtaining a copy of Artoria this way will not count towards your progress for a USO. So you're not going to get a USO, nor is it going to count as one of your 5 copies to get to a USO. So there's that. But again, you will still get coins for it. So if that's your concern, you can certainly do that. But this will not count towards USOs. We have seen them do this before in other selection situations. So again, don't assume that this is like that groundbreaking or anything like that. The only thing I can point out is that at this point, I'm actually surprised that they nickel and dime us on stuff like this because it's not like most people can get USOs very easily. But it is what it is. Again, it basically says if it's a 6th copy or more, you're not going to get it. Likewise, basically, if it's 5th copy or lower, it won't count for it. So you have the choice of a servant with ACE. You have commemorative craft essences right here. Basically, you got the Saber one, and it's all the old original Stay Night artwork in Takeuchi's hand. Definitely looks awesome. Very nostalgic in that regard. You got Emiya. You've got basically Ku here. You've got Medusa. You've got Medea, and you've got Sasaki Kojiro, and then Herc. Herc's is maybe the hardest to see. It just looks really kind of like faded unless you zoom in on it due to the color palette of it. But the interesting part about these CDs, as you can see, is they're just 100 attack and HP, but they will increase the bond points gained of allies that debuted in Fate Stay Night by 10%. This is an intriguing thing. I don't know if it'll include more than is on this campaign, but it is certainly a nice effect. That being said, be careful here. It's probably not as powerful as you're thinking. 10% is certainly good, but it's only the Fate Stay Night cast. So therefore, as a result, like in order for this to actually have a whole lot of worth, you'd be needing to take multiple of the cast in. That certainly could be a thing if you're just like not caring about 3 turning and just going in, bonding them. But it is, again, something that I think is free. So, hey, just treat it as is. It's a nice additional accompaniment, especially if you're trying to bond one of those particular units a little bit faster. That being said, odds are you're probably going to be better off even having something like 5% bond for all of your units rather than, say, 10% bond for maybe one unit. So just keep in mind how that would kind of work out in your party. But I do think it's a nice thing, and certainly it'll remain to be seen how this works. But I do at least have to call attention to the fact that this is yet another thing that's increasing bond point gain. Obviously, not that huge of an issue, but we've seen the devs keep trying to increase bond point gain and make bonding even more and more and more and more and more efficient. They're trying to get us to get done with our units faster. And they've stated already their reasoning for this is that 1, they don't want to allow us to go to bond 20, at least not as of yet. And 2, they want us to roll other units. So it's sort of a sneaky way of saying, like, sure, you can get the bonding from these units. You can get the quartz that you get out of it. But, like, we want you to actually, like, get done with your units that, for efficiency purposes, you feel pressured to roll other units. Not sure I agree with that, but it is what it is. And again, this is a nice CE regardless. So obviously, that's going to be a thing. We're going to talk a little bit about who I think are the good choices here, though. Now, obviously, if we're just coming at this from a rarity standpoint, Artoria is an SSR. You're going to get the most coins for her here. You're going to absolutely have the sort of power that she brings to the table with that. Artoria is certainly in a very good spot as far as servants go. She's not your most powerful AoE saber anymore. We have a couple of other people that have managed to pass her, but she is still a very good, very capable unit. She can loop from 0 nowadays, though it usually requires having some source of overcharge in order to help bail her out, or again, doing shenanigans like with Kuro, Avenger. But either way, you can start her from 0. You just have to have the specific set of conditions to work. Otherwise, start her out with a 50% C, and she does solid work for you. You've got Emiya here as well. He is a permanent 4-star AoE archer, and we could call him Buster, but he can also be arts at times now, thanks to his upgrades. And again, we'll see, maybe this upcoming banner here actually, or sorry, this upcoming stream here actually unveils like upgrades or something like that, but I suspect they're probably going to abstain from that this year, but we'll see. But again, so Emiya with his upgrades, he actually can be a decent farming option. I think the issue is sort of with how his projection works in the cadence of a 3-turn. It often can end up sort of messing with him on the final wave of a 3-turn and make him not that powerful. So I do think he's still pretty good, pretty serviceable in terms of his kit. He's a really fun unit to use, but maybe not the most cracked unit of the bunch. Then we have, obviously, Ku here. The thing I'm going to say about this from a gameplay standpoint, nobody should pick the 3 stars or less. That being said, y'all should just go ahead and pick the units that you like. I can definitely give you some stratagems for if you're trying to think about this from a gameplay perspective, trying to improve your account. But at the end of the day, go with your favorite. You'll probably be more happy anyways. And again, it is what it is. But yeah, certainly there's no real value of getting another 3-star unless you're just a new player and you don't have access to these. But eventually you will end up with NP5 while you're 3 stars. So can't really argue for that from a gameplay standpoint. Still, Ku is a really solid, as we like to call, cockroach. He's a very survivable character. And nowadays, thanks to all of his buffs, he actually deals decent damage for a single target Lancer. And again, I think he's just excellent in challenge content. Very hard to bring down, very survivable. Next up here, we've got Medusa. Medusa certainly has a 1-hit NP, and that makes it very difficult to ever do anything more with her than that. You can 3-turn with her, but you gotta kind of brute force it at this point with like Oberons. Again, it is what it is. It's gonna require a pretty robust account in order to make her able to 3-turn, but certainly if you like her, I think that's just going to be one of the things that people are going to go after. She's not a bad unit. She actually does have, charge over her counterpart there with Alexander. So her being a 3-star AoE quick rider is not the worst thing in the world for her, but it's also not the best. Next up, we have Medea. Medea is always known for her extremely low damage. This is just due to her modifier being sort of scuffed. She has an AoE modifier, even though she has a single target NP. But what she sort of lacks in terms of her damage output, she more than makes up for in terms of her repetition, her loop ability, her ability to get back to another NP. You can do this over and over and over and over and over again with her. Again, my record is 6 times. You can certainly potentially try to push it more. I wasn't even trying really that hard when I hit the 6. So definitely she is a unit that you can actually get quite a bit of NPs out of. The good part about her NP is it actually will buff strip enemies after the damage. Unfortunately, it's not before. That would be better. But still, if you're looking for a single target caster, she's really your only option amongst the low stars. And again, having that ability to buff strip is always nice. Sasaki Kojiro, aka Regend, is here. And again, I think people often actually overhype Regend's actual gameplay performance. It's understandably a 1-star. You can do some interesting stuff with him, but it's not going to be that strong, and you'd be probably better taking off a higher rarity. Where his Regend comes from, though, is the fact that, again, he was the savior of France back in the day on JP when they actually had some terrifying wyverns. Obviously, people really like his character from Stay Night. Again, he is serviceable. He's not going to be the strongest thing ever, but even if you grail him, but still definitely usable. So I do still to this day like Regend in terms of his kit. And then we have Herc here, and Herc would be the last of what I would consider to be the gameplay considerations. There's actually a strong case to be made for saying he is the gameplay choice here. That is to say, if you don't want to roll for Artoria, or sorry, you don't want to pick Artoria, you don't want to pick Emiya, Herc obviously is a very strong solo artist. He's another cockroach like Ku, but a lot of Herc's viability actually comes from having his Bond CE, and that's going to require getting him to Bond 10. I guess this campaign helps really work for that in that regard, that kind of getting your hands on Herc and getting the Bond C that's going to increase bonding would allow you to work on Herc faster and get him to that point where he can really become a monster and actually manage to sit there and sort of solo a lot of challenge quests for you, or again, just be a backline sort of safety net in case of your run falling apart. Either way, Herc is definitely strong. His upgrades have treated him very well over time, and still to this day, he is extremely difficult to bring down. So definitely like Herc in that regard. Who knows? Maybe we'll see adjustments since the devs have actually talked about working on Bond CEs that may help or hurt Herc. I assume it's going to help, though, because we know the devs really can't nerf in this game. So it would definitely be an interesting thing to see how Herc might pan out in the future. Either way, though, I think, to me, if I'm going to go with gameplay choices, my choices are pretty much going to be between Herc and Artoria. I think it's really going to depend on what your account needs. That being said, there's no shame in picking anyone that you like here, and certainly, as I mentioned before, we might actually see upgrades come out of that stream, but we'll just have to wait and see as to whether or not they actually do that. Other than that, this campaign actually has a login bonus. You guys are going to get 20 quartz from that. Pretty nice in that regard, as again, you can see some of the rewards here, you guys got for the retweet campaign, you guys ended up getting 20 quartz if we make it, and then you guys actually end up getting basically 40 more for a total of 60 quartz from this campaign. Definitely nice. Let no one say that FGO does not give out its currency in spades. It absolutely does. Again, I think people just often have a hard time trying to save it up and actually get the units they want. But definitely a really, really nice campaign in that regard. There's going to be obviously some other stuff here, including 2x experience gained when leveling the servants up. That means that this would actually be a very good time to grail units here. You're not necessarily going to get 2x super success rate here, but 2x experience means every single one of your embers is going further. So if you're going to 120 any of these units, now is the time. Certainly, if you're on NA looking forward to this, we might get this campaign in an announcement that is due to come here on NA, because we have a live stream here on the 31st. But who knows? If it does come to NA early, then obviously you guys have a couple of days to prepare. But if it doesn't come to NA or comes later, at least you guys have more time to kind of think about this option. Still, again, at the end of the day, this would be the best time to 120 any of these units. You're also going to have all classes Ember Gathering and Training Fields open, regardless of the rotation. They don't need to open the QP doors quest because that's always just the same one. But certainly really, really nice, because it's going to allow you to farm out the embers that you might need in order to 120. So again, this may be a decent time for people to farm if they just really need particular embers. Obviously, for any of the first 7 here, that's going to be pretty nice. For Berserker, good luck. There is no raid up Berserker Day. You're just going to have to hope that Berserker enemies spawn in your Ember Gathering for that. But definitely everything that you would need in order to be able to level up your stuff. Again, each of these units will have damage bonus on all quests for the duration. Definitely interesting, as you can see that regardless of it being a main story or event quest, this would actually impact the current ongoing JP collaboration event. That actually might make it easier for some people to do the 90++ node with Saber here. But again, it just depends on what they're trying to do. Definitely an interesting thing to say the least, though. Again, we're also going to be getting game updates. They actually managed to change the split rate up for 4 stars here. So basically, this is going to now improve. You can see, essentially, we had a upgrade basically to the old singular 4-star rate up. That was in response to people complaining about the pity system. Devs actually said, like, okay, well, we don't want to just pity, but let's go in and actually change the way that a solo 4-star is on rate up so that people stop griping about this as much. Still, years later, I think we can definitely point to this and say, no, it's still not working out. Your 4-stars still have an abysmal rate, particularly due to the fact of how difficult it is to secure them when multiple of them are on rate up. And so the devs are like, okay, fine, let's go ahead and adjust the 4-stars on split rate up. And so they've managed to do that here, basically taking the amount when you have 2 from 1.2 to now 1.4% for rate up, and from from 0.7 to 0.8 for 4 stars on rate up. Again, the base rate of 3% of rolling an SR does not change, just the amount and the odds of it being the rate up unit. So definitely nicer in that regard. It's going to make it a little bit easier, but I'm going to go ahead and say this will not replace the pity system needing to get better. It still absolutely does. Again, let me know what you guys think about that. I'm someone that's of the opinion that the pity system doesn't necessarily have to get better by virtue of the amount that pity is set at, but rather all the bells and whistles that are attached to the pity system, like it resetting. Again, I think it shouldn't reset. I think it should roll over. I think it should apply to higher MP levels. I think that would actually help the game quite a bit if they sort of made it work like that. Certainly, we might also be asking for a 4-star pity if these changes don't work out. And I think while these changes will be nice, they still won't completely solve the issue that we're currently having with 4-stars. So it is what it is, but definitely a nice upgrade. And then we'll also be having a summoning campaign. I actually find this kind of hilarious since you can literally pull any of these units with the selector, but certainly, at least if you are new or you're just wanting additional copies, this banner is here for you. You're going to have the opportunity to roll Artoria, Ku, Imia, Medusa, Heracles, and Medea. Quite interesting in this regard is the fact that they basically ended up leaving Kojiro off, but the whole reason for that is because Kojiro is a 1-star, so he would just be an FP unit. They can't really put that in this banner. You will have some rate up craft essences here. These are all old CEs here. Beyond a Wish is your 5-star. It's actually not that good. Obviously, the artwork here looks stellar, but it is not all attack scaling, and so it is what it is. Battle Companion's actually pretty decent here, as it's NP damage, buster, and arts up, and all attack scaling. So not the best C in the world, but certainly pretty decent for a 4-star. Definitely a decent one to have. And then those eyes, let none get away here is your 3-star. This one's going to be split stats with quick and sort of starting charge here. So not too crazy, not too bad. I believe that one goes up to 20% gauge at MLB. Definitely a rare CE in that regard. But yeah, so that's going to be it for the Stay Night campaign. Again, hopefully we get some good news as the days go on here and we actually find out some more. But certainly this is a decent campaign. And again, like I said, keep your eyes peeled on NA. It may come to us. Just don't expect it to. Because again, remember, we still have the SSR that NA got that JP still hasn't gotten, in the way of, I believe it was the guaranteed SSR on game start. So definitely a nice thing. JP stream will be tomorrow morning, basically at, I think it's like 5 a.m. my time or something like that. But again, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys for the next video. Have a good one. Okay. Chad, I always talk too much. I hate that. I need to be more succinct. Imagine you can roll him at that banner. Yeah, like, I find it funny that they give you a summoning campaign and it's like, oh, hey, it's all the units that you could already pick on rate up. More talking is more content, though. I just want the content to be informative. I really don't care how long it takes, other than, like, sometimes I think my videos get too long and thus people, like, zone out. So I miss Herc. I had him on my old account. My own phone got destroyed and I lost the account. I hadn't made a transfer code. Yep. I don't whale, so many are at MP1, which doesn't often deal consistent damage. Sometimes I rely on single targets. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a decent argument to make for, like, going for either Artoria or Emiya in that regard, right? They're both AoE units. I think having NP2 of Saber is certainly valuable. It's like, NP2 is where you start hitting amounts where it's like, okay, this handles the vast majority of nodes. And it's Usually only a really badly tuned 90 plus node for the unit or a 90 plus plus node that ends up doing it. Can't wait for another copy of Artoria. The 120 draws closer. Nice. Artoria has spooked me to NP4. Yep. Spooked me more than that. I like I said, I'm also at the point where it's like I don't care. Every time Artoria shows up as a blessing to me, and I just laugh. You said who's the best in your opinion? Oh, I'm basing it off of damage numbers. The best AoE saber in terms of raw damage output, I think at this point is Altera. You certainly have some crazy units out there like Void Shiki, Ibuki, but Altera, I believe, is the current top dog. Character-wise, who do you like more, Sei or Murasaki? Murasaki. Sei is I like Sei, but I also find Sei annoying at times. So it's like I really like her sprite and her like voice lines, but like in the actual stories that Sei appears, I find her personality kind of grating. It's almost like one of those weird issues where I'm like, please don't say anything. And that sounds terrible, right? Like, but I think it's just the way they write her all the time. Wish I see special effect like the level 10 Bonsi. Yep. That's you with the Sakabahime. Understandable. Oh, right, that's true. I forgot about Salter's upgrade being redonkulous. Yeah, my brain still hasn't processed that upgrade. Still to this day. The you were hot until you talked. Kind of. Like I said, I actually do like her like her character's personality in game as you're using her. I don't care for how they write her in dialogue during story. It's weird. It's like to me there's some kind of disconnect there. Where like I feel like when you use her, she's just Genki. She's just really happy, really like cheery. But then like you go into story and she's like very what's the word I'm looking for here? Like brutally honest all the time. And I think that's like where I see the disconnect. Because she doesn't strike me as a character when you're using her as someone that's brutally honest. No, Mordred shouldn't be top dog. They force it in the story? Yeah, I think they do. Because I think they force her out of her like normal genkiness and into like the okay, it's serious time now. And that's kind of what I've talked about before is that like story gets too serious at points. Where it's like this is clearly a character that is not serious. Stop forcing them to get serious. Right? Best AoE saber is a 4-star. Yeah, and I look, chat. I like Salter, and there's gonna be some people that are gonna argue the lore on this one with me. I don't care. Your 4-star shouldn't be your strongest. I'll even say that about Salter. Like, I know how people feel about certain units, but I don't want to see the 4-star or the 3-star be the strongest member of the class. Like the 5-star should out damage them because it's a 5-star. Like again, how else can we expect to like, oh hey, yeah, you need to like whale, you need to like use all this quartz, you need to really try, right? Like, oh, but it's actually more rare than the unit that does better performance than them, right? Like, I think that's one of the issues I run into. Oh, I see. Maybe they're strong because of lore. Yeah, they've been quiet with releasing AoE sabers after that. I mean, we got Takaru, right? Like, I think that's the weird part, is that like the trade-off for Salter being so strong is that she's the only buster unit in the game that really cares about how many enemies she's hitting. Because her buff is like hit based rather than like, you know, just it be. Maybe they, yeah. Never get spooky to MP5 at Salter story. Like, oh yeah, I mean, like Salter and Lalter are notoriously hard to get, notoriously, and I think that's stupid. Now, and here's the difference too, chat. If you go look at like the raw numbers with no buffs, Lalter sits on the top of the heap. You've got a 4-star sitting on the top of the heap. The reality is Lalter doesn't actually sit on the top of that heap. Like Lalter does good damage, but Lalter's only got 20% charge. So you ain't Black Grail looping Lalter. I think it would be very hilarious if they ended up pulling the buff that they did for like Salter on Lalter. That would like out of all things in the game, that might be something that could rival Melisande finally. But like that would be equally dumb that it would take something like that. Okay, chat. Is the time. Is the time to get wealthy. If I can find it in my list, please tell me I didn't uninstall it. Okay, I didn't. God, I'm just blind. Anyone hoping they'd buff Santa Salter? In a weird way, I actually think they will, Dade, but only if they bring her, like, back with the Evocation Festival. Right? Just communication. Sega. Okay. Oh boy, Unity technology. That's a dying breed. So again, chat, we're continuing on with Like a Dragon, if you guys haven't seen this. Let me real quick change. Holy shit, that menu music is loud. Like, nothing else in the game is loud, just this menu music. Okay. We going to America soon. Soon, chat. But I knew we were going right into cutscenes here, so that's why I wanted to start. But yeah, I would love if they actually buffed Salter.
No, it's fine. Old habits die hard, huh?
Well, it's also just being kind and respectful. Yo, Sawashiro, former captain of the Arakawa family.
Captain Sawashiro! I thought you were in the slammer. What are you doing here? You were found guilty. You killed the Seiryu chairman.
Maybe.
As far as Ebion is concerned, you're public enemy #1, right? At a glance, I'd say he's treating you like the opposite.
You know, for a dumbass, you're pretty perceptive, huh, Ichi?
And I see you're at it with that. Would it kill you to be nice for once? I guess old habits really do die hard.
So they do.
So, what exactly is going on?
Well, long story short, I wasn't the one who killed Chairman Hoshino 4 years ago.
What?
Did he unalive himself?
Awful late to the party, aren't you? Seems even Hoshino got sick of waiting.
Young master, what have you done?
Yeah, I should be asking you. The ruthless Captain Sawashiro I once knew never dragged his ass. But I have a theory. You let it slip that someone was after the old man's head, didn't you? If all went according to plan, Ichiban would come save the day before you made the hit. That's what you were banking on, right? Well, change of plans.
I see. So you sent a guy in ahead of me to ensure the job was done.
I'll make sure the credit goes to you. If it gets around that you off the Seiryu clan chairman, well, you're sure to impress a cellmate or two.
So then, that means I'd lost your trust some time ago, young master.
You're wrong there, Sawashiro. You never had my trust to begin with.
Damn. Don't touch it. Hey, how you doing? You think he had Peking duck, maybe?
So someone else got to him before you even had the chance. Right. Then the young master played you as well. And even knowing that, you still took the fall.
Well, I can't deny I was on my way to kill the chairman. Maybe I did pray for a sort of miracle. That by some chance I wouldn't have to. But it would have been too shameless of me to plead innocence.
You had your reasons. I'm sure a lot was going through your head at the time, yeah?
Yeah.
That's true. I suppose I was trying to atone for my sins somehow. It was clear the young master... No. My own son was only sinking deeper into the abyss. I spoiled him. And Arakawa-san's death was a direct result of that. In truth, I might have prevented it. But instead, I pushed him to do it.
He took full responsibility.
Once they put me in prison, I thought I'd just be counting down the rest of my days. But someone put that countdown on hold. That someone was Ebina. A man claiming to be his attorney came to visit. He told me he could prove me innocent, that he wanted to appeal for a retrial.
So Ebina knew the truth? Did he know about Chairman Hoshino? That there was another killer?
Yeah. He's a sharp one, that guy. Real young, full of energy type. He did everything he could to get me out of prison. It was all to serve his goal, to start up the Second Great Dissolution. You even heard it yourself just now. Arakawa still had a lot more to do before he passed.
I'm not sure I trust this
I
guy.
get it.
He's too smart.
You couldn't be the one Yakuza left out of all this.
No way. I'm the guy that turned from the Tojo to the Omi, incited a war and went on an all-out rampage in the process. Get someone like me on your leash, and even a fresh face like Ebina's sure to turn a few heads. To keep the strays in line, you need someone who can bark over them. I suppose that's why he brought me in.
Sounds like you got the short end of that one.
I'd say it's the perfect job for me, all things considered. If nothing else, it sure beats pretending to atone for my sins in some cell.
Captain.
I had asked Ebinet to bring you here tonight, but it wasn't so I could talk about myself. I know I have no right, Ichi, but I have a favor to ask you.
A favor? From me?
It's a rush job, too.
Let me hear it first. I don't exactly want to bite off more than I can chew, you know?
Well, as I understand it, you're fresh out of a job, right? I'm sure you'll find the time.
That's true. We're now all hobos. So this is chapter 2. So we should be going to Hawaii.
So, Sawashiro asks you a favor, and without any clue as to what it is, you run off and snag a passport. Sir, yes, sir, eh?
That's one way to put it.
Yeah,
Well,
you can't
whatever his
snag a
favor
passport
is,
that fast.
I imagine you'll be heading overseas, right?
maybe
ain't
in
good for
Japan.
much else.
He's gonna fill me in later today. Said he'll be waiting at Heian Tower.
Are you gonna be okay by yourself? I mean,
Yeah,
can you
I
really
don't know
trust
about
Sawashiro?
Japan. I know in the States you
You
can't
know,
snag
I
them
think
that
if he was
fast.
gonna hurt me, he'd have done it by now.
That's a fair point.
Not only that, I'm out of work, with plenty of time to spare. Figured I'd just go meet him. I'd feel bad turning him down at this point, especially after he came to me for help.
Guess we're all going to Heian Tower then. You're not the only one with time on his hands after all.
Oh, who are these people? My hobo friends. Pretty far, so might as well take a taxi. No, I refuse to take a taxi. You can't make me. Can automatically get a ride there? That's cool. I'm not doing it. I don't care how far it is. Our ass is running the entire way there. Because there is loot. There is trash like that stinky towel. There's rainbow fragments.
I'm in good shape.
And there is combat with my vibro sword. Oh, wait, there's 2 more? Okay, we hit him into the wall. Get hit with my Slim Jim.
On to the next level.
Okay, Ichiban is now a higher hero.
Hell yeah.
He's a higher detective. And he is a higher homeless guy. Even though we're all technically homeless, guys. Taxi costs money. Hobos need to save those. Exactly. Now you're understanding. Pocket tissues. A bronze plate. More people to beat. Ah, he sidestepped me. Shit. I meant to actually hit the guy in front of him. Okay, we got the extra wall damage. Oh no, it's an unboxer. I love how much this game just like takes everything that's like modern and is like throws it into an RPG setting. Okay, this dude's like purple. What does that mean? Does that mean he's gonna kill me? Oh god, he's level 17.
fun with this.
The turncoat titillator, chat. Heaven's door. No! Ow. Okay, there we go. Getting flashed on stream, it happens. This is actually the direction we need to come. I'm surprised these guys are like level 10. So they actually are out leveling me. But the good news is that probably means they're worth decent experience. Dumpster bento. Oh, yeah. We're just dumpster diving now, chat. Oh, we only got the 3. Interesting. Oh, no. No, I'm stunned.
Watch this.
Ow. Oh, shit. He got KO'd. He got butt bumped. Okay, do I actually have a revival item? Spiky, thank you for the follow.
One more time.
Ow.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so hold on.
Let's go. Going in.
Okay, I actually got both of them, but I missed that, I think.
Cool. You're weak.
Oh, that was supposed to hit the titillator, but it didn't. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have any recovery magic. Crap.
Have fun with
Pigeon raid.
Hope this hurts.
I still don't know, am I supposed to time that? Or am I supposed to, like... Or am I just supposed to hit triangle before it, I think it's timed.
That didn't feel like winning.
That didn't feel like winning? Yeah, I can see. Okay, good. He leveled up, so yeah, okay, so they're at least maxed out. Kasuga's not, but, as long as I don't get in combat, like, unannounced, I should be good. Okay, these are normal guys. Yeah, come here. The timing is off? It feels like it. Beat him. It doesn't help that I haven't like gotten any upgrades really in a hot second, so I'm still working on that like first round. But you can see, at least from a level standpoint, this was worth. I'm not gonna chase those guys. Wait, what? Okay. I was like, I don't know why that didn't give that to me.
I'm in good shape.
Oh, the vocational school closed. Where did he end up, I wonder? I bet he went to Hawaii. How much you want to bet, chat? Nice, I got 3 of them with that.
Okay. Have fun with this.
Oh, sweet, that actually hit them all. I was gonna say, I was gonna be angry if that didn't.
Feeling good.
There we go. But what the heck is that guy? Oh no, it's the Dine and Dasher. Dude, he's supposed to be paralyzed. Okay. There doesn't appear to be as much loot over here. Or I'm just not seeing it as easily. Damn, I almost feel bad for that guy. Keyword there on almost. Got him. Souvenir armor shop. Toy bracelets. That's really expensive. Binding. Max HP increases. So those are nice, but they're probably not worth buying. You get plenty of accessories. At least if it's like the first game.
I'm okay, I guess.
Ooh, 100 yen. Hold on, chat. Let's beat these guys first. They deserve beating.
Watch this.
Oh, damn. He got triple hit. I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
And then Nanba with the steel chair. Just comes in there and beats him. I think I love the way they fight in these games where it's like, screw fighting fair. I'm just gonna pick up this like bench and just destroy you with it.
To think there'd come a day when we'd share a meal here.
Yeah, why?
I'll say. Still, I assumed it'd just be us.
Actually, they're here on Ebina's orders. I made a lot of enemies before getting arrested. Plenty of people out there still hate my guts, it seems.
Oh, I did what you asked. Got my passport right here.
Ah, excellent.
So, what's this favor you're asking?
I'm sending you to Hawaii. There's someone there who wants to meet you.
Hawaii? Who is it?
Well, it's your mother.
What?
What?
I have a
She's
mother?
the one woman the boss truly loved. Akane-san.
Huh? Wait, that's...
Just so we're clear here, yes, you are indeed the boss and Akane-san's child. That fateful day 40 years ago, I saw everything with my own eyes.
Goddamn.
On that day, 2 babies at the coin lockers were sadly mistaken for one another.
Yep. Which I still think is like the stupidest mechanic for a child swap I've ever seen, but
In a perfect world, you would have been raised as Masato Arakawa, the boss's own flesh and blood. You were, of course, replaced with the son I abandoned. If you hate me for it, you're welcome to say so. You have every right.
You know, I've
wait,
always
so does
had
that
two
mean Young
fathers.
Master was like
Jiro Kasuga at the Shangri-La Soapland.
was
By
his
oath,
kid?
Masumi Arakawa. For what it's worth, that's all I needed.
Maybe you're right. That said, what about your mother?
Oh,
Right,
fuck.
so, this Akane-san lady is...
Yes. She's your mom.
Is she hot?
No,
I mean,
but-
what?
Akane-san, I heard she was killed. Heck, Arakawa-san told me himself. The Hikawa family hunted her down. You know, the guys Arakawa-san used to run with.
Right, well, that may be what the boss believed. But it's not entirely true. Prior to the boss's departure, the patriarch of the Hikawa family hoped to marry Arakawa-san to his daughter. That's how much he liked him. You might even say the patriarch wanted him as his heir. But as fate would have it, the boss was already together with Akane-san, so he had to fearfully turn down the offer.
Right.
That was it. And the patriarch's rage upon hearing the news was more than the boss could have ever imagined. In a sudden turn, he tried to kill both the boss and Akane-san, who at the time was pregnant with you. You see, the boss had heard Akane-san was caught by the Hikawa family, but he never saw her body for himself.
Oh, Emperor.
He kept believing she was out there, and so he strung up one Hikawa member after another. But by then, it was too late, and the order to kill Akane-san had already been passed on to the contractors.
Contractors?
Professional hitmen. So now they were on the hunt too. The Hikawa Patriarch was playing all his cards.
All that to kill Akane-san? Just her alone?
Crossing the Yakuza carries a heavy toll. Surely I don't have to tell you that. It was then Arakawa made one last move. And in order to save your mom, he raided the Hikawa family HQ all by himself.
God damn.
Arakawa! You're going straight to hell, you damn traitor!
This man is Giga Chad. He's also the only one that brought a sword to a fist fight.
You either move or die!
Jesus.
Akane, where is she? Old man. Wherever she may be, she won't have much longer to live. The hounds are already on her trail, and once they sniff her out, it's feeding time, down to the very last bone. Whether I live or die makes no difference. My orders are absolute. Then make new orders. Tell whoever you hired, you're calling it off. The plan's already in motion. Give it up. As far as I'm concerned, you crossed the point of no return a long time ago. Did you forget? Where the fuck is Akane? No longer in the country. She's bound for the Philippines. Stowed away on some shady-looking cargo ship, it seems. Imagine a pretty little thing by her lonesome, with hardly a yen to her name. Surely she has to earn her keep somehow. I hear life at sea is quite demanding, but it's the men at sea who I'd be concerned about.
That takes some balls with a gun pointed to your
Bet
head.
you they're lined up as we speak. Shit! You piece of shit!
Yep.
Tell your men to stand down, or they'll be dead just like you. Ikawa! That's the spirit, Arakawa. Oh, I've been wanting to see that face. To hear you scream like the little brat you are! Make the call! Do it already! One really has to wonder, though, how bad is your bitch holding up?
Jesus. Just shoot him? No, this is definitely worse.
The boss continued torturing the Ikawa patriarch until he breathed his last. But no matter what he did, the madman kept on laughing. Till the bitter end.
Yeah, he do be seeming kind of mad.
And in the end, he never found out where Akane-san was. And now he had no chance of calling off her pursuers.
But wait, he knew she was headed for the Philippines, right? There had to be something he could do.
There was. He flew to the Philippines as soon as possible, and once he formed his own family, his subordinates joined the search. But nothing ever turned up, and the years just kept passing by. He came to believe that if Akane-san were alive, she would have contacted him.
True.
That day never came. So he and the rest of us assumed the worst. Though no one ever said it out loud.
And so how'd you find her?
Here. It's the photo of Akane-san the boss had us carry around.
What?
I can't imagine you've seen it.
This is her? Akane-san?
But yeah, when she was
She's
younger.
Native Hawaiian, albeit with some Japanese blood mixed in.
Then I have that blood too?
Guess that's how it goes.
But you definitely got the hair.
Ten years had passed since Akane-san went missing. Then, one day the boss got an emergency call. It was from an officer of a Filipino group we had dealings with. He found a girl in Hawaii who looked just like her.
Then that mean maybe she moved back home at some point.
Yeah, we'd been looking at that angle too, as you might have guessed. But the boss never knew where exactly in Hawaii she was born. That might be why we still came up short.
So you went there to take a look? To find Akane-san?
As soon as I got word, I was on the first flight out. It was just me, though. And boss stayed behind.
Why?
What? Why didn't he go with me? If I can afford to be blunt, it's because he was afraid. He'd had enough. A man can only have his hopes built up so many times.
Yeah.
The stronger and more promising the lead, the bigger the hurt when it all fell through.
I see. Makes sense.
Anyway, off I went. Eventually I found her. It was Akane-san, no doubt about it.
And she was safe and sound?
She was. About as safe as you can get. Granted, that presented a bit of a problem for me.
Huh?
Say all went well, and she returned to the boss. Akane-san would inevitably want to meet her child. And in that case, she'd quickly see that her son's been living with a handicap since the transfer at the coin locker. Now, she might at first say that just being able to reunite is enough. But eventually, she'd want to know about his condition. And she'd probably ask how that happened. Before long, she and the boss would be comparing their memories from that night. Then it'd hit. They'd realize they transferred their baby at different lockers. How then would they treat Masato Arakawa, the young master, the boy they believed was theirs?
Well...
They wouldn't.
No one truly knows what would have happened. But I did know this. As long as Akane-san kept out of Japan, everything here'd stay the same. Neither I nor the young master would have to suffer.
Wait, then you flew out to Akane-san too?
Exactly. When I saw Akane-san, I was planning to kill her.
What the fuck? You could have just, like, not said anything or been like, yo, it's totally not her. You didn't have to kill her.
Even I couldn't help trembling. I had every intention to get rid of the woman the boss loved. However, I ended up walking away. All thanks to something she said.
If anyone asks, I've been dead a long time.
And Akane-san has kids out there?
It shouldn't come as a surprise if you think about it. A young girl on the run from hired killers, with absolutely no hope of contact from the man she loved.
I mean, you could have called.
Who could blame her for anything?
You literally could have called.
From then on, it was her life to live.
Like, I think that's my only issue in all of this, is
So
that,
I
like,
decided to honor her wishes.
she
I gave
really
word to the
never
boss
did
that
try.
Akane-san was dead. I told him the Hikawa family had reached her first. That all I'd found was her lifeless body. Nothing more. The boss quietly accepted my report. The search for Akane-san was called off. And she was never spoken of again. After that, I stayed in contact with her, though sparsely. I needed some control over her so that she wouldn't suddenly get homesick for Japan, you see.
You're a certified asshole. Still, I get that this all started because of what Akane-san said. I'm not saying everything you did was wrong.
Well, with the boss now dead and me out of prison, the situation has changed. I wrote a letter to Akane-san. I told her everything there was to know. How I betrayed the boss, and that Ichiban Kasuga, the boy who grew up in a soapland, was her child. Ironic, isn't it? Neither I nor Akane-san were finally free until long after the boss was gone. Anyhow, Ichi, Akane-san, she tells me she wants to meet you.
She does? Me?
Akane-san's home address. It's right there on the front.
Is this a letter from Akane-san?
It's just the envelope. The letter was to stay between me and her. I'm afraid I can't show it to you.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be strange to be in your 40s and be asked to meet your mom for the first time. But Akane-san's only getting older. A son ought to set his mother's mind at ease before she passes on. Don't you think?
Well, yeah.
This is just one more way for me to atone for all I've done. I'll be booking your flight to Hawaii. You'll leave tomorrow night. All that's left is how you feel about it.
Well, I'm
Will you
still a
go?
hobo.
Not for me, but for Akane-san.
I was hoping for a job.
Please, won't you see her, Ichi?
Captain.
I beg you.
You know, I never thought I'd see the day you bowed your head to me. All right, I'll go see her.
Well, I would have killed you if you'd said no.
Why? Why is your solution to, like, just kill everything that you don't like? Like,
What's up?
hey, good to see you're still in one piece. Huh? You guys waiting for me? Namba was worried about you, and I somehow missed my chance to skedaddle. Who's talking? That's what I was about to say. Did you find out what Sawashiro's special request was? About that. Things got a little complicated. You don't say. Then how about we head over to survive? Yeah, let's do that. Thought we were going to Hawaii. Granted, how the heck are we gonna get
Hungry.
後悔するな。
How the heck are we gonna get, like, the rest of the party to Hawaii? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
God, there's so many weapons here.
Get stronger.
Hmm? Hmm?
Oh, you're not getting away from me, big boy.
All right, let's do it.
We got the proximity bonus on that, but not when Adachi attacked for some reason. That's stupid. Nanba chose violence, he does.
Yeah.
Take your best shot. You're ready now.
Have fun with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to get through these early fights just spamming attack. Nothing in here is that difficult.
Let's do it. Yeah. Take your best. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Easy. Keep ping-ponging each one of them into each other. Oh boy, 100 yen. Oh boy, 100 yen. Oh boy, a paper plate. Oh boy, 10 yen. Actually, hold on. That was a clothes store.
Freight trains coming through. What's up?
I think it's up. La Chat Blanche.
いらっしゃいませ。
Simple earrings. Looks like just magic resist and luxurious belt. Max MP increases. And neither of those are good. I was hoping there'd be like some actual like gear, but if it's just that stuff, it's probably not worth.
Okay, I guess.
Okay, we're just gonna keep sprinting across here. I see loot. Oh, we've already walked 10,000 steps.
The battle is on.
Cool.
Oh, that's BS, but okay. God, I cannot get the timing on that. Go.
Yeah.
I knocked him over the like wall. Oh no, he healed. No healing. Just beating this dude in the middle of traffic. My huge bloody vibrator. They're still using the hobo text? Yep.
Hell yeah.
Okay, good. He actually needed a heal, so I'm glad he leveled up.
Hey, hey. Let's do it. Cool. Yeah. You're in it now.
Okay, 2 for 1. Ow, missed the timing on it. Okay, nice and easy. I think that's a dead end, so I don't think I want to go in there.
The battle is on. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. He got back attacked. Get out of my way, hobo coming through. Ah, 10 yen. I'm such a rich man already. I am the richest hobo, chat. What do you sell? A safe key. A rocket launcher. Or a smoke bomb. Here to sell items? Hey, you know what? We'll save. I'll wait to sell everything till we get to Hawaii. Oh wow, she's buying stuff for her senpai. Sorry, her senpai is buying stuff for her. Who are these guys? Oh yo, it's the Demolitioneer. Damn it, Namba, you got in the way. There, at least you finished him off. Okay, so we gotta go to the south side of this thing anyways. And that is a dead end. See, chat, though, the fact that there is stuff that you gain benefit from for walking, like, that increased my passion. So it's like, why in the heck, then, would I ever take a taxi? Unless there's, like, actually a stat as well for riding in taxis, then I'm screwed. But, like, at this point, I'm just gonna keep doing the running approach, because it's free. Hold on, this is a bathroom. Mage, there's no loot in the bathroom. Why have a bathroom if you're not going to put loot in it? Okay.
I see.
Arakawa never found out Akane-san's alive and well. I mean, not, but it kind of sounds like it was meant to be. Especially since Akane-san wanted to keep Arakawa in the dark and what have you. Things changed after the boss passed. Who knows? She'd want to meet me otherwise. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I feel like we can blame Akane for never wanting to contact the boss, but also, chat, like, imagine you nearly lost your life and were hunted and pursued to the ends of the earth because your significant other, like, basically was a criminal, right? Like, I think there would be a point where it's like, if you got out of that alive, that you kind of would just be like, you know what? Screw that. I'm not going back to that life. What are you gonna do? Gonna ship off to Hawaii?
Hey.
Sure am. But it's not so much that I want to meet my mom. Really, it's more about paying my respects to the woman the boss loved. Kind of my sworn duty, you know?
Okay.
Well, I'm sure she'd like to see her son after so many years, especially given her age. Wait a minute. You've never been out of the country before, have you?
Okay.
This will be the first time. Nice thing is, I've already got the tickets. Captain Sawashiro's taking care of it. I guess all I gotta do is get a taxi, then go from there.
Sure.
Sure, most tourist spots out there will have a Japanese speaker or two. Huh, really?
Yep.
There's been lots of Japanese immigrants over the years. Honest. You mentioned traveling abroad to people about my age. The first place they'll think of is Hawaii. You know all those quiz shows from way back? Grand prize was usually a Hawaiian vacation for two. Huh. A Hawaiian vacation for two. Imagine if you went with Sachan. That'd be something, eh? Like, she'd ever say yes to that. You guys haven't made up yet? The message I sent last year still marked as unread. Dude, you know at that point, like, that, like, she lost her phone or some shit. Shit, really? What the heck did I do wrong? Hey, let's forget about that, yeah? And, oh yeah, don't you need to pack?
Yeah.
Alright, packing. Gotta pack for your big trip. There's some stuff to know in advance, like watch out for white taxis. A lot of Japanese folks get scammed because crooks think we all look alike. We all look like mild-mannered idiots. White taxis, huh? Oh yeah, one more thing. Huh. Before you shove off, it might be a good idea to stop by old Arakawa's grave, eh? You're right, I should. Right? Right.
Got it.
Alright. I'll visit him first thing in the morning. For now, let's call it a night. Hey now, no sense moping about. Come on, it'll be all three of us. Wait. Since when are you coming?
Thanks.
Huh, thanks.
Listen.
Well, shall we? Now that I think about it, this is my first time seeing Arakawa's grave. Yeah, same for me. I haven't been in a while myself. Hang on, I'll get us a cab. Damn. I have to actually get a cab. But not before I hobo loot this thing. Ooh, 500 yen, chat. And a paper plate. And because of the anger of having to take a cab, I'm gonna beat these businessmen. Oh, God. Oh God, no! It's the city slickers. No, I don't want to see your special ability. Die! There we go. Trust me, chat, you want none of that. Cabell sent me back about 500 yen. See, this is why. The Awakawa's grave is nowhere on the map. Let's be on our way. What kind of businessmen are these? Don't worry about it.
I'm taking off, boss. I'm gonna go meet her. Akane-san wants to see me.
Arakawa, he had no clue Akane-san was still alive. Nor that you were actually his son. He never knew about any of it.
You know, whether I'm the boss's blood or not, I can't actually say. Honestly, does it even really matter?
Huh?
To the boss, I'm just me. And to me, the boss is just the boss. His blood,
But he's the
my
big
blood,
boss.
It's not important. It doesn't change a thing.
And that's why you won't take a DNA test? If it were me, I'd want to set the record straight.
For all I care, I got two dads. I've got the boss right
What's
here,
up, Ahado?
and I've got Jiro Kasuga, the man who stepped in when no one else would. That's good enough for me.
If you say so.
Man, you always gotta be so stubborn. Say, by the way, what's that in your hand?
Oh,
It's a fist.
I've got some of the boss's ashes in here.
Huh. You get that made somewhere?
I want to give it to Akane-san. You know, provided she'll accept it.
So that was it, huh? That's what made you decide to go?
Maybe. For what it's worth, I thought it might make the boss happy. So, what do you think, boss?
Metal Gear. I don't know why I thought he literally had some dust in his hand. I did too for a second there. I was like, you just carrying that around in your pocket? I don't want to keep Adachi-san and Nanba waiting. I should head out into the station and snag a taxi for the airport. Dude, I like that I just have like a backpack, like I'm some sort of small child. Okay, we're gonna heal. I can't go to the bathroom. Oh no.
Huh? Oh, what's up, Nancy? That's my pet crawfish, of course. Nancy. I sort of bargained for
Of course, chat. Of course this is pet crawfish.
her life with a homeless fisherman. She's been with me since. Namba stuck her in a clay pot as a joke, but turns out she finds it pretty cozy. Oh yeah, if I'm going to Hawaii, Nancy'll need a sitter. Wonder who I could ask. Adachi-san, maybe? Huh? I don't know. Listen, if my stay in Hawaii goes long, you might dry out by the time I'm back.
Of course. Want to see Hawaii, huh? What's up,
Fine,
aggressive?
Your way. We're in this together. You want to come to Hawaii with me? Yeah.
I know, I'll just take my pet crawfish on the
Good
airplane.
girl, keep cool, Nancy.
Okay. Oh no, it's a degenerate. Sujimon Generation
Jeez.
2.
The hell's up with this guy?
Just another crazy off the streets. Nothing out of the order. Huh. Does it feel like we've had this conversation before?
Whatever. We know how to handle this.
Roger. Showtime! You're going down.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a lot of health. Ow. Yep. Wait, why is that loading? Okay.
Man, what was his problem? I swear, this city's just as ugly as it ever was.
Oh ho! A turncoat titillator. Classic. You've not lost a step, Kasuga. How fortunate for us all.
Huh?
It's been a while, my boy.
You! Who were you again?
It's me, you fool! Professor Morikasa, the bloody Sujiman sensei.
Oh, right! I was just kidding. Of course I remember you, Sensei!
Sujiman Sensei? This guy a friend of yours, Kasuga?
You were with me when I met him, I think. He took us over to his, Sujimon Center, right?
Come on, man. It's hard enough to remember the names of cute girls these days. Much less scarred up cue balls.
If you say so. Listen then. This guy's the Sujimon Sensei. The creep who researches other creeps. Had me fill up a whole catalog of data on them. The Sujimon.
Yep.
Guilty as charged. More monster than man all. And inclined to make passers-by feel super jittery. Sujiman! Okay, yes.
Gotta collect them all, chat.
For the necessary classification. For society to rid itself of these violent creepazoids, research and categorization are vital endeavors. You see, as ever, my ultimate goal is world peace.
No shit.
I don't think it's world peace.
This world, despite all my efforts, it's still rotten with criminals and degenerates. Just look around you for proof. And so I collect data on them, their behaviors, their habitats, to help good, honest citizens.
He looks
stay
like a mad
clear of
scientist.
danger.
He is.
That's why you needed Kasuga's help? Since he's always getting his ass kicked in the seediest parts of town? Right. It's coming back to me now.
Well, Kasuga, will you take up the Sujimon cause once more? To be the very best.
Huh? Sure.
You do still have the Sujidex installed on your phone, of course, don't you?
Hey, hold on!
You deleted my Sujidex app. All that data, gone.
Hey man, those things don't have much space.
With no cloud backup. Ugh. Nothing to do but reinstall it.
The Suji Dex has been reinstalled on the smartphone. An app that records data about dangerous figures inhabiting the city known as Sujimon. Study up on their weaknesses, resistances, and skills to prepare for your next fight. Defeating a Sujimon is all it takes to get their data, but if you lose the fight or escape, the entry will remain incomplete.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
Enough whining. You want to keep the world safe, don't you?
Wait, I forgot. I'm planning to go to Hawaii soon. Will this thing even work overseas?
Huh? Well, it should, in theory. But why are you headed there, might I ask?
I've got some stuff to take care of.
My boy.
Another Pokemon ripoff?
Hawaii
Yeah.
is known far and wide as the Sujimon paradise.
Really?
One could call it an entirely different region of Sujimon. A tropical dreamscape, yet a land of shadows, blessed by the sun and the moon. In fact, I've even heard tell of some sort of Sujimon tournament there.
How would that even work?
Perhaps We'll speak more of that when the time comes. Away now, my boy. To Hawaii you go for priceless Sujiman data.
Of course.
Remember, gotta dispatch 'em all. Become the Sujimon master again.
Whatever
CB to
you
Q,
say,
thank you for the
Sensei.
follow.
Going to Hawaii, huh? This might be my one chance to get it all back.
Yeah. Fujimon Generation 2. So, chat. Yes, it is another Pokemon ripoff. Yes, they absolutely stole the Pokemon models. Okay? I want to get that out of the air ahead of time.
Okay.
There we go. They never believed my ideals. We'll see. Yeah. I get the feeling he used to battle with Sujimon in Hawaii, and he's now a, like, shamed and disgraced master.
Bring it on. Yeah.
Cool.
God, it is so difficult. Dude, why'd you step out of the way of that? You could have just comboed him.
On to the next level. Nice. Moving up in the world.
Okay, so how do I see my phone? Okay, so there's my Suji Dex. Okay, see, we found the unboxer. It's number 69. Okay. Oh, we also fought Asakura and Shinya Sasaki. Apparently both of them are Sujimon.
Bring it on. Yeah.
Nice. 2 for 1.
Wanna fight? Feeling good.
How did that not make him fly into the other dude? Yep.
We made it.
Ah, yes. Tacos apasionados. Perfect, chat. All that I dreamed it would be.
Doing so hot.
Threatening
This
men.
could be it.
Oh, damn, we got both. Let's go. Cat, do you like Pokemon? I don't mind Pokemon, but I think as somebody that like basically didn't get into it as a kid, that it's like damn impossible for me to like now get into it. Like I will never have the entire like Pokédex memorized like some people do. So it's like I just play the games and enjoy them in their like basic enjoyment level.
I'm good.
But I don't care to like necessarily like min-max or any of that shit. Wait a minute. So first of all, use the salmon onigiri. How do I? I think I have to take a cab.
What's up?
10 yen. Stinky towel. Head to a taxi near the station. I just don't know, like, is this considered near? I don't think it is. Yeah, I think it specifically has to be this one. But first,
Bring it on. Yeah.
okay, we got a back attack and a combo. Ichiban literally threw a cone at him. I went around the wrong way.
Hey, Ichiban. You sure you got enough stuff with you? I mean, it's Hawaii.
Needs
Not a
stay
day
cope,
trip, it's a
indeed.
hot spring.
You're staying there at least a few nights, right? Bring enough change of clothes?
Hey, if I run out, I'll buy some. I hate dragging luggage around. Look at us. First we're homeless, and now we're stressing about extra clothes.
Hey, you're right. We really moved on up.
Wait, we're still
This might
homeless
just be
though.
the R&R you needed. Take the time to enjoy it.
Oh, and I'm good with any gift. But macadamia nuts.
Sure. Thanks, guys. Well, guess I'm off.
I like how that's also saying that he like expects it. Like Namba
Happy
expects a
travels.
gift. Even though he's a hobo. Just need to avoid rain. That's true. My God, it's like real life.
Whoa. Man, ain't nothing like a sunrise in Hawaii.
My God, it's in English.
On behalf of all of our crew, thank you for choosing to fly with us today. We hope to see you again soon.
No. Wait, careful, hold on. Sorry. Please, just wait 1 second.
Hey. Mind if I take over?
Yes, please. Thank you.
No need to be so gentle with it. Just lift him by his belt here. Like a sumo in his loincloth. See?
Thanks for lending a hand, sir. We appreciate the help.
No. If anything, I was being too nosy.
I wouldn't call helping a stranger out nosy. I take it you've done this before?
Well,
And before that's one of her kids.
an old friend of mine spent most of his life in a wheelchair, so...
Yeah, that would do it then.
Anyway, you here on vacation?
You could say that, yeah.
Right on. Well, let's make the most of it, huh? Later.
Thanks again. Oh, hui-ho.
Who what now?
Hui-ho. It's like saying, until next time.
No. Okay. Hui-ho!
Why did you say it again? If the taxi driver spoke Japanese. Casca's money has been converted to USD. Oh no. From this point on, any cash gained will be converted automatically when appropriate. The exchange rate is fixed at 100 yen to $1. We're poor again. Let's go. Oh no. So what you're saying is, I have $414. Let's go. We back to being a hobo, chat. Find a driver who knows Japanese. Wait. It's a white taxi. Wasn't I told to beware this?
Aloha.
Aloha! This mean anything to you?
Do I speak Japanese?
Oh, you can read it!
You just come in from Japan? I got you. Now, hop in.
Hey, all right!
I either got lucky or I'm about to
Where
get
to?
I'm about to get
Here's the
raped,
address.
chat.
Look familiar?
That's a good ways away.
Oh, really? Is it gonna be a long drive?
First time in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome to the island. Hope you have a nice time. Hey, so you're from Japan, right? I'd love to get out there one of these days.
You say that to everyone who flies in from Japan?
Like this is a sales pitch? Nah, that's how I really feel. Japan's a wonderful country. It's super peaceful. It's a great food.
Yeah, but what about Hawaii? This place is supposed to be heaven on earth, right?
Well, the warm weather all year round is nice. But, yeah, Hawaii's got its problems too.
Go figure.
And truth be told, we love Japanese guests out here. They make great customers, and we used to get a lot more before. Maybe you ought to bring your friends next time.
Maybe. This time around's kind of personal. You know, you're a pretty upbeat guy, huh? That an Islander thing?
No, I get that a lot, that I'm easygoing. But I'm not all Hawaii. My dad was from Japan.
Oh, really? Then is your mom from here?
Yep.
Huh. Hey, I guess you're the same as me.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Actually, I only found that out just recently.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna go south somehow.
Hey, sorry, but mind if I see that envelope again? I want to check the address.
Oh, sure.
He threw it out the window.
We almost there? I could have sworn it was more toward the suburbs when I looked it up.
Oh. Is that right? Guess somebody did their homework. Get out.
Wow, I'm back to being a hobo.
See, this is why I love the Japanese. Butter them up just a little, and they'll trust almost anyone.
Should I be putting my hands up?
You can stay as is, long as you're quiet. I'll want your wallet and your smartphone. And you know what happens if you say no, don't you?
You're gonna shoot me? You? Really?
You bet your ass.
I ask because I don't think you can.
Huh?
A lot of people say America's some gun-crazy cowboy country. But I doubt many of those cowboys know what it really means to pull the trigger.
Damn.
The hell's your point? Hey!
You want to know if someone's gonna shoot you? Look at their eyes. A little practice, and you'll get the hang of it.
But, hey!
Didn't think Japan would know how to strike back, huh? Maybe now you'll think twice.
God damn it! Don't get smart with me, asshole!
Oh, now we're gonna fight.
Welcome to Hawaii. The battle is on.
The crooked cabbie.
Yeah.
Well,
Break yourself.
what?
Cool.
You're out of here. Someone's down now.
Cool.
Okay. I got $4 in cash.
You know, if it just did your job, you'd have got a fat tip. And now all you get is a fat lip.
No, not a fat lip.
And give me my envelope.
Envelope?
The one with the address, man.
Oh yeah.
Now what? You gonna turn yourself in?
Actually, it's you I'm turning in.
Huh? Yo! That's a Kane-san! What the hell is wrong with you? Spit it out!
I don't know what you're talking about.
taxi robbing dick.
The fuck?
Officer, help! I am being robbed! This hoodlum want my money, and he pointed a gun right at me!
Wait a sec! Don't tell me you're seriously buying this crap! Are you?
All right, smart guy. Put your hands in the air and turn around!
Okay, hang on. I'm doing it.
Get on your knees, right now!
I can explain. I swear I just got into town. I haven't robbed anyone.
Come on, arrest that scumbag! I'm pissing myself over here.
I'm pissing
Why
myself.
me? This is bullshit.
Better luck next time, asshole.
The cops would hear you say that.
That man is no thief.
Well, that's convenient.
Hey, you're the Yahuiho guy.
Who you should be arresting is the driver. He's the real thief. And if you need proof, I recorded the whole thing. Here.
Hey, freeze!
America.
Hey, you saved my ass. Not even here a day and I almost land myself in jail.
Sorry you had to go through all that. I was surprised myself.
Yeah, but what are you doing here?
Well, actually, I was following you.
What?
Following me?
That's right. As we were leaving the airport, I noticed you had hopped into a suspicious-looking taxi.
It looked suspicious? You could tell just by looking at it?
The thing is, I was born here. As it stands, I've got a bit of a sixth sense for it. I can tell if a driver's out to scam tourists or not.
And he was setting off the alarm, huh?
It's not like I was 100% certain about him. But you were so nice to me on the plane, and I imagined what might happen to you, and frankly, I just couldn't leave it alone.
Well, thanks, man. You really saved the day. Oh, I'm Kasuga, by the way. Ichiban Kasuga.
Kasuga-san. My name's Mitamura. Eiji Mitamura.
Hey, that's a good name.
So, Kasuga-san, where were you headed, if I may ask?
Oh, shit, that's right! The address was on the envelope!
The envelope? Was that what that driver ate all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know Akane-san's address without it.
Did you copy the address somewhere?
No. I didn't think I'd lose something that important.
I see. Actually, hold on a moment. I might have something.
On your camera?
Huh?
You know what? I might be able to work with this.
What? Are you serious?
I can see the envelope in the video I just took. It's too rough to read as is, but I can try tweaking the footage.
And then we can read it?
Yes, I think that should work.
You'd really do that for me?
Yeah, enhance.
Of course. In fact, I'd say this was meant to be. But I will need my laptop to enhance the video, so... if it's no trouble, can I ask you to come to where I'm staying?
Oh, sure! I owe you big time, Achan.
Achan?
You're Eiji, right? So you're Achan. Sorry, did I get a little too chummy?
Oh, no. It's just been a while since anyone gave me a nickname. Anyway, should we get going?
Why are all of their addresses just XOXO? All of their license plates are XOXO.
Actually, Kasuga-san, aren't you hungry?
Oh, yeah. I haven't eaten anything since I got here. Could definitely grab a bite right now.
In that case, why don't we do that? I haven't had anything either.
All right! First big Hawaiian meal, let's do it!
It's interesting to see what Japan thinks
There's
of
a place I
American
used to go
people.
to pretty often. We can go there if you'd like.
Dude,
Is there
nobody
anything
just
you'd rather
alohas
not
you.
eat, Kasuga-san?
Nah, I'm game for anything. People tell me I act like it's the best thing I've ever tasted, no matter what I'm eating, so...
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
You're
even in
picking the
control.
place, then I'm
I
ready to
only have
chow
the
down.
camera.
Just maybe we keep it cheap, because, you know, I'm kind of broke.
No worries. It's a casual little place.
We're in business then.
Dude, what the hell? Just these women talking
Man,
to a dog.
Going on a trip's great. You meet all kinds of new people. Shame about the first guy waving a gun in my face, though. Could have done without that.
I hear you.
It is a trolley.
All in all, that kind of thing doesn't happen too often.
Honestly, I wonder if he's all right. You don't think he got shot or anything, do you?
You're worried about him? A guy like that?
Well, I mean, the guy didn't seem evil. Not entirely.
Let's go. Hot blonde.
You're one of a kind.
We're getting
Kasuga-san.
fire breathed on.
Not everyone could admit something like that, especially about someone who tried to rob you.
You don't think? Maybe it's the island. Bigger the space, the bigger the heart, you know?
Yeah, there are not just fire twirlers on the streets. I can't emphasize that enough. That's not a thing. Like, you might be able to, like, find one, but, it's not just there are fire twirlers on the streets.
Kasuga-san, what's the thing you think of when you hear Hawaiian food?
Oh, let's see. Loco Moco, I think? I know I've heard that one before. I mean, hamburger patties and sunny side up egg on rice? I'd wolf that down in 2 seconds.
Oh, it is tasty. And these days, it's not just with hamburger. You can get it with chicken or even mahi-mahi.
Mahi-mahi?
Mahi-mahi,
It's a type
baby.
of whitefish. The big ones get up
My
to about
favorite
6
type of
feet or
fish.
so.
Wow, so is that like a Hawaiian specialty? If I caught a fish that big, I'd never shut up about it.
It makes for a good story. On that note, Kasuga-san, how long are you planning to stay in Hawaii?
I don't know. I haven't decided, but I doubt I'll be here for too long. I'm not exactly here for sightseeing.
Oh, then what for?
Oh no, this is realistic enough, Dragonette,
No,
that
it's not for work either.
I'm sure
Oh yeah?
they visited Hawaii.
Well, we've come this far, I guess.
So they're just going all out with it.
My mom and I were separated at birth, and apparently she's still alive. She lives out here now. I came out here to see her.
You were separated?
Hard to believe, right? It hasn't really hit me yet either.
Oh, it's any wonder. I can only imagine how difficult that must be. Wait, then the address on that envelope you lost, was that hers?
Exactly. Would have thought some guy would eat the friggin' thing.
You sure have been through a lot.
You know, one door closes, another opens. I mean, here I am now, having a great meal with my new pal.
Pal? You mean me?
I have friends?
This is okay with you, yeah. You've been a great friend so far.
Kasuga-san. All right. I guess I'd better get you that address then. I can't let my new pal down, after all.
Yeah.
So you're saying
on ya.
this is a pal world.
Thanks.
Man, that was good. Be great to come back here once things settle down. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Check out that view. Yeah, check out that view. Oh, the sun. The sun, yeah, the sun. I too stare at the sun. All I usually get is some nasty sewage canals, so this is really something.
That's right.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it more after going away. Back then, I took it for granted. All right, you said you were born over here. You visiting your family?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might say that. Always good to keep in touch. Gotta be tough on the wallet to come back to Hawaii every time, though, huh? Yes, it's pretty harsh. I'll have to knuckle down at work next month. Oh, is your job pretty flexible? I'm a freelance engineer. Okay. I figured he was going to say photographer there, but sure. I used to work full-time corporate, but it was a little too awkward to stick around once I got in the chair.
I see.
Sure. If you're freelance, you can get everything done from home. It's a bit more liberating. A freelance engineer, huh? Well, hope you're paid accordingly.
Huh?
You know the trade? I worked at a Hello Work in Yokohama. Got fired after a bit, though.
Huh?
Probably hard to respond to that. Don't worry. It's all good. Oh, no, it's not that. You said you said you were in Yokohama.
Yeah.
Huh, yeah, I was. And Hello Work fired you, so wait, Kasuga-san. What's up? Don't tell me, are you the same Kasuga they talked about on Tatara channel? Oh yeah, that's me. I knew it. Man. Channel must be pretty famous, huh? I mean, yes. Said you'd done some pretty heinous things, but frankly, I just can't believe it. Well, I appreciate that. Seriously, the whole thing was whack. Had to be. And that means you have to get her to take it back. Oh, you mean DM her or whatever? I tried sending one, but I never got a reply. I'm not miffed about getting fired. I did do some ambiguous stuff here and there. You really think so? Yeah, honestly, I don't really care about me in all this. What really gets me is all the people I dragged down. You were put through this whole unreasonable ordeal, and you're worried about other people?
Okay.
Unreasonable is what happened to them. Oh, what the hell? No point in getting all depressed with a view like this. We gotta keep moving. Oh no! What was that? Kasuga? What's wrong, ma'am? Alright, English. The wind blew my scarf into the ocean. It's really special to me. So go get it. Her scarf was blown into the ocean. She says it's really special. Why are you wearing a scarf in Hawaii?
Leave it to me.
Is that right? Okay, I'm on it. Damn, this man came equipped. How's this? Hey, Chan. Can you ask where she saw it land? I'll swim out and get it.
Sure.
Faded pink book. That it? Nope. Go over here to this one. Dirty can. Nope. A scarf. I like how he's like, bruh, bruh. We're on an archipelago? Yes. This is a gift from her late husband. Glad we got it back for her.
Excuse me?
Jumping into the ocean, just like, what were you even thinking? Sorry for the scare. Appreciate you playing Navigator, H-Chan. Goodness. I haven't yelled like that in a while.
Sorry.
Sorry for that, too. Anyway, let's get going. Dressed like that? Oh, right. Nearly forgot. Okay, hang tight. Gonna laugh. He just like walked out of frame and walked back. Sorry for the wait. Now we can go. Lead the way. There are some huge palm trees. Exactly what I picture when I think of Hawaii. By the way, chat, I just want to point out, pushing a wheelchair like this through the sand, probably extremely difficult. Palm trees swaying over a blue sea. That about sums it up. Is something wrong? Back in Japan, I'll often snag a persimmon off of the trees in the park. Is that a no-go out here? I'm not sure. I've never even thought to do that. I doubt they'd put you in jail for it. Oh, seriously? Good to know. Just a guess, though. Wait, what are you doing? What do you mean? I'm grabbing some fruit. Pardon? I saw it on this one anime when I was a kid. It just looked so good. I always wanted to try it. Well, hang on. They sell coconuts and everything right over there. Sure, but isn't it better if you get it yourself? Much as I want to climb, that's easier said than done. Maybe if I give the tree a good tackle. Are you serious? That's something a little kid would do. He would never... Ah! Look at that. What?
Totally.
All right, it even split open, and it's a full one too. All right, here it goes. Wow. Woo! This stuff's amazing. Oh, whoops. I'm just here gorging. Here, cheers, Echan.
No.
Oh no, that's okay. I'll pass. Come on, you gotta try. It's really good, man. Your throat's all dried out from yelling earlier, right? Quench it up. How did you know that? I heard that cough a mile away. Here, it's good to try new things.
Sure.
All right, give it here. This is really good. Heh, told you. I never thought I'd get a straight one from a tree like this. I can't remember the last time I did something so childish. It's a good time, right? No harm if we goof off now and then. Moderation's key, I suppose. Anyhow, we should get going. It'll be dark before long. All right, let's be on our way then. That was too easy. It definitely was. Nor do every single one of those trees have coconuts in them.
Wow.
Huh, pretty happening spot. It's like this all day here. There's lots of stores around too. I'll say, good place to pick up some souvenirs. Huh? What's wrong? Echan, what's up over there? Oh, that they're probably just trying to pick her up. They tend to go after the tourists around here. Well, it's not unheard of. She looks kind of upset though, huh? Yep, I'd certainly say so.
I see.
Figured as much. I thought it might be different overseas, but nope. Sorry, man. Think you could wait here for a sec? Okay. Kasuga-san, not again. I said no.
Come on, baby. You don't gotta be scared. Come with us. It'll be fun.
Hello there. Pardon me.
The fuck you want?
That, shoot, person there. What's the word? Oh, duh, lady. That lady there. She is troubled. Not good, okay?
What? The hell's this guy on about?
Huh? Shit. Maybe their English sucks too. The lady. She is troubled. No good.
Hey, piss off. Or what? You want to get your face smashed?
Oh.
Ah, now this I understand. English is one thing, but fighting words are another. What are you doing, Kasuga-san? Hey, Chan, maybe take a lap. I think I'm about to throw down. Did you just tell the handicapped guy take a lap? What the fuck? Now you're being reckless. Things might get a little rowdy, so don't get too close. Normally I wouldn't, but I'm not about to leave you hanging. He's joining? At least let me offer support. Seriously? Well, all right, pal. You fellas want to go? Then step it right up.
Cool. This guy thinks he's hot shit, huh? Let's splatter him.
I like how the woman said nothing. Just like, leave me alone.
I'll show you. Kasuka-san, allow me.
Okay, so he cheers him on. Okay, so he's like a support. I paralyzed Cole. Did you just say my body sucks? Mitchell dreams about the big swell. Carter attacks. God, these are so white. Mitchell's defeated. Easy. I got my vibrator.
My bad.
Sorry, man. We learned our lesson, honestly.
They said they learned their lesson.
I see.
I'll bet. So did I master English yet, or what? You asking me? Sorry about all that. You're safe now. Oh, no need to thank us or anything. It was no big deal. Thank you for saving me. Oh, you're so handsome. What the fuck? Maybe let me say thanks. My hotel's just down the street. What? Come on, I promise it'll be fun. Oh, hey, I helped out too, you know. Sorry, I guess I was more her type. Huh, well, she clearly doesn't appreciate a more rugged older man like myself. I'm so confused as to what's going on here. Anyway, it was good to enjoy the island a bit. About time we head over to your place, eh?
Excuse me.
Actually, why don't we grab a quick bite first? Sun's about to set, and there aren't too many stores where I'm staying. Through that. No good spots around here? We could always do that cafe over there. They have a great tuna salad sandwich.
Sure thing.
The cafe, huh? Got it. I'll go grab us a couple sandos, so sit tight. Thank you. That's very kind. Okay, chat. I finally have control of my character again. As hilarious as this is, we gonna end it here for tonight since dear God, we are 20 minutes over stream time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. We will have the SSR ticket tomorrow. Well, as I say SSR, the Fate Stay Night ticket tomorrow to do. So again, I will see you guys for that. And probably more of this as well. So let me see who all's on. I see a Phaethon I'm going to send you over to. So again, hope you guys enjoyed. Go give Faye my love. I will see you all tomorrow. Later.